Two double zeros, Neil. Two double zeros, Neil.
I can't
flex on them, Joey Options.
hit the gym.
All right. Terra Engineering. What is the actual use case for AI in China? Will the government allow AI to exist without extreme limits on output? You're bringing up a very good point. Because if you ask DeepSeek about Tiananmen Square, go ahead. Try. So your point very well taken. I don't know. I don't think that that's the formula. That's just me. I think obviously free speech leads to the exchange of ideas, and the exchange of ideas leads to progress. That's just my little bias there. But leave them with a thought. We're gonna go into the weekend here.
I mean, it's Friday, guys. It's been a fantastic session. I mean, it's exciting seeing the crypto space put in some highs in the likes of Ethereum, and then we're also looking at the likes of Google starting to climb higher as well too. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We still want to see that rate come into play and how the market reacts to that. But other than that, guys, enjoy your Friday. Don't blow up the week, and go into the weekend with a positive mindset, regardless if it was red or green.
Oh, flexing on everybody. Joey ETH. Of course I saw
I think
Joey
he goes to the
ETH.
gym.
A little bit.
It kind of looks like he goes.
Little bit. I would imagine so.
It's a fair assumption.
Wow. I guess we jinxed that ETH all-time high, didn't we? That didn't work. It was so close. I think we got to, what did we get to? 48.4, 48.66 was the high on ETH. It tried to go. It just couldn't quite get there. Almost at an all-time high. Obviously, by now, you know that Big Papa pumped the market up. Intel's really starting to give it back here. You know what's funny about the Intel move? Well, I mean, the dip buy was better than the break. That's obvious. But what's funny about the move is, well, we got the news that was exactly what we expected. President said 10% stake, gonna be 10% stake. President said no voting rights, not gonna be any voting rights. So that's exactly what was expected, and now Intel on good volume coming right back in. Maybe this is going to be a VWAP bounce play for sure. But wow, what an unbelievable day. I think everybody by now recognizes that this was, like, the open was a big deal. But for most stocks, maybe not Intel, but for most stocks, it was 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock where things absolutely ramped to the upside. If you look at the IWM, it was doing nothing. The Russell was doing nothing, and then at 10 o'clock, look at the candle. It was like $5 right away on the IWM. Small cap was going nuts. Opendoor was going crazy. Now you got crypto going crazy. The Nasdaq up 1.7%. Oh boy, Obi.
Oh boy, indeed. Yeah. And what about Google? Google with the news coming out intraday right there, and yeah, I was definitely a little short. And I covered most of it. Unfortunately, I covered most of it. Didn't even let it get to VWAP. It got to VWAP there, and what a bounce. And I guess buying was definitely what you had to do on Google on the day today. You can see nice consolidation on top of VWAP, maybe even a double bottom that could potentially, I guess, get you in before the news even comes in. But yeah, that was a little bit of a strong push. Wick all the way to 207.40s, Neil, and it was just resting at 204s. So absolutely crazy push on that one there. Market still hasn't broken its highs yet, but Google almost at it's at its intraday all-time highs. That already broke at around 206.50s. But if you look at extended hours, I see a little bit of a wick at 209.50s. Yeah, Neil pointed that one out, and he was just like, yeah, no, there's a after hours move as well. So we're almost there. 208s currently trading on Google. What a crazy, crazy move, Neil. And yeah, no, I think we were waiting for Powell to come in and talk. That happened. We got an aggressive bid right off of the report that came out. Right, and then nice little consolidation. Oh boy.
Yeah, buddy. Oh, you gave.
Is there protein bites?
Oh, I knew. Okay. Oh man, you good. See, this is the thing. These are brand new. Like the what am I?
The bars.
The scaffolding, rigs.
Bars. I don't know what.
Whatever you're supposed to call it. Like we have that to house all like the cameras and stuff that goes around the trading desk, and because we're moving back there now, all of a sudden. Yeah, that stuff's behind. Although they were nice enough to put, I don't know if you noticed this.
There was a.
Like this is a. See, you have like a foam one.
I have a foam one.
Like Sean, this is like a more rounded thing that you can't tell is a little soft. But
I
anyways,
don't know how far back I have to.
Studio 8, it can be hazardous. I just noticed it.
You got to go real far back to get.
Sharif makes these protein bites. They're absolutely delicious.
These are so good.
Just so you know, it's a little bit, when you're chewing it, usually like one at a time, so we're both not unable to talk, but they're absolutely
That's
delicious.
true. Or we could just both have them.
Well, that's what
and then stare deeply into the screen so the users can also feel what we're feeling. You know what I mean?
We did that yesterday.
Oh.
And a lot of times I'll just eat in front of you guys and...
There would be silence. No one would be talking.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Anyways, there's too much going on in the market for there to be zero talking right now.
We're about to, the market is trying to top off a little bit here. It looks like we are pulling back.
Zoom Communications.
Zoom?
Zooming to the upside
It
right
is
now.
strong.
I just pulled it up once again.
I got my eyeballs on Nvidia.
Absolutely crazy.
Nvidia's trying to curl.
Let's take a quick look at Zoom here. New highs, new day highs right there on that aggressive push. Look at that volume coming in through the day high. Maybe the highest volume bar to have printed. Now, I just looked over at I guess, my morning watch list basket that I have open. And oh boy, what a reversion happening on
my goodness, Amazon's
Circle as well. Look at this reversion, Neil. Boy, absolutely beautiful. Aggressive trend, that extension off of VWAP and then reversion and maybe a little bit of consolidation breakdown as well, and really puking down back towards some of these opening range highs here on Circle, making a full circle back to lows. You're watching Amazon potentially?
Well, I was looking at Nvidia.
Okay.
And then I saw someone's like, just look at Amazon. And I think when I was looking at the top, probably recognized that is one heck of a very linear trend up. Reversal candle there. The top is 40. We got essentially 10, so we risk it to the top, to the high of the day. And you know what? I even just said in the chat, I was like, usually I like to short weakness if you can. So I am in bullish because, bullish was like the most bullish stock yesterday.
Yep.
Today it's not. It's down 2% when everything else is rallying. So I'm shorting this one under VWAP in 69. But the new trade is going to be Amazon on a bit of a trend break. 1.6% for the Nasdaq, 2.8% for Amazon. Worth keeping in mind here, like Amazon with a good clean buy or bounce like everything else off the 50-period moving average. I meant to, that doesn't really matter. I want to go to my drawing tool. Let's try that again. There we go. Oh, goodness. So if you look at the high that just recently got made on Amazon, I'll figure it out. Trend. It's underneath that trend line, so I think this is the area that I'd look for it to get topish. It could go another $1 and in theory still be under that trend line, but I'd look for reversions under places that are resistance levels a little bit earlier. I do have eyeballs on Opendoor as well, but mean reversion is the first thing that I'm doing here on AMZ, and shout out to the chat here for sure. But yeah, it's been a wild day. I'm expecting we will see some volatility this afternoon. I know it's a Friday afternoon, but after what we saw this morning, do we really think we're not going to go anywhere for the next 2 hours? I don't think so. Oh, are we going?
Time for the rundown?
Oh, there you go. We are ready
There we
for the
go.
rundown.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, everyone. The show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Obi, you saw him. He's in for Sean. The big boys are locked and they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as cited by you. But the only way to get those tickers on that screen is to get into the chat every day and vote for your favorite ticker. It's super easy. Thanks to Fabian, you throw in that $sign followed by whatever ticker your heart so desires. Let's look at all four major averages, and oh baby, there's a lot of green on the board. Starting on the top left of your screen, that's the triple Qs, 1.71% in Greensville. Bottom left, the best performing major average on the day, that is the IWM Russell 2000 ETF. It was up over 4%, boys, paring down some of those gains down to 3.84. Top right of your screen is the SPY, the ES ETF, up 1.6%, and the Dow, I think that's what Donald was referring to when he said almost up 1,000 points. We were at 950, paring back some of those gains right now, still up 1.96%, knocking the door of that 2% mark. Opendoor, the number one ticker as decided by you guys, those trading this during the midday, should have stayed in this, Neil, because it's breaking out back into 471, trading higher after Powell said, restrictive policy and shifting risk may warrant adjusting the Fed stance. Talking about those interest rates.
Things. First off, someone tell the president no one cares about the Dow. All right? That's number one. How many points the Nasdaq is up? All right?
Yes.
I'm just being real. Nobody cares about the Dow. Nasdaq. Number two, now that you just said you should have stayed in Opendoor, you know, I always say you take personal responsibility for all of your trades, and that's the most important thing that you can do. You have to have accountability. You don't want to get too emotional when you make a mistake, but every now and then, you just got to tell it like it is. Clearly, it's all Sharif's fault that we're not in Opendoor. It's Sharif's fault that I didn't hold on to Opendoor either, even though we probably didn't take it at anywhere near the same time. Everybody, I don't know, man. This stock was way stronger than I thought. I'm going to be real. I actually thought that I had long into the top. And I was considering shorting this thing on the way. At least I didn't short it because I felt like I would have trapped myself into like getting short again here and then just thinking it was going to go into VWAP. But Opendoor's a squeeze play. Rates coming down. Like, look, we're getting a cut in September. Deal with it. It's happening. Obviously, it's in the right space, so it's going to get some benefit there. And on top of that, small cap. On top of that, have decent short float. And you also have a situation where it just showed up on 13Fs, and Tudor is involved in this. So you have a lot that's working well for the squeeze that is currently happening here. It's not a huge, gigantic short float, but it doesn't matter. It's strong. All I did is take the first available breakout, and then it pulls right back into prior high. Sometimes you think the market's made a top, but whatever. You could have a second trade in here, long and Opendoor. There hasn't really been any sign that it's slowing down. So I think for this afternoon, if there is some kind of a pullback into a trend break that we can find, I'm definitely open. Like it did a mini one just here, like a little bit of a pullback trend, then you get that little break. That's not a bad pattern for open. It's obviously a lot. It's really top heavy, no questions asked, but it's not quite at that $5 level yet. So there's maybe like one or two salvos left before I'd be more concerned about getting the top on open.
Yeah, no, I think I like that look there. That $5 mark, we know that is a very important price when it comes to stocks, and that last prior high is sitting at 497. And yeah, I like that you were looking at the daily chart as well, because this kind of looks like that pattern we talk about sometimes. A little bit of a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Liquidity trap. So you see this high volume push all the way up into 5. Exactly. Thank you, Neil. I was waiting for that. Pretty much exhaustion right there into 5, pulls back in, then you have a multi-day fall off. But you see the move kind of started off kind of in here under that sub-dollar mark, never really got back down there. Maybe a little bit of a failure to follow through. Earnings pop right there, pulls back in. Another failure to follow through of the lows, break of that downtrend, low volume as well. And then we start to rip and start getting aggressive on, I guess, higher time frames once again. So I think that $5 mark is going to be a very interesting area. Even in the past, every time we've got up here since about 2023, again, this is an adjusted chart. This is about 2023. 541 is the high. Every time we've got up here, we've met with supply. But this time, look at the sharpness of some of these candles. It's definitely looking like it's building up pretty aggressively. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'd like to know what. I definitely want to be there through that $5 push, see how it's kind of happening, and assess it from there. But bigger picture, I know people are definitely along this name as well from some of these prior weeks here. So. Oh, yeah. Open for fresh highs? I don't know.
A bunch of headlines. Let's start with the first and most obvious one. Shares are trading higher amid the overall strength after Fed Chair Powell said monetary policy may warrant adjusting. Also, Elon looking to offer, obviously, Grok as well as DeepSeek and ByteDance's Duobao with its cars in China. 3 different AIs, but obviously no ChatGPT. Lastly here, guys, Tesla lifting prices of their fastest Cybertruck variant, the Cyberbeast, by about $15,000 all the way up to $114,990, adding that Lux package, which includes full self-driving and supercharging.
I, for one, am definitely more likely to buy a Cybertruck now. No, that's not true. I mean, no. I mean, like, I own Tesla shares. I happen to like Tesla, but the Cybertruck's been a disappointment. I think Joe said it already. Like, not even me. Like, it's not like I want to buy a smaller model Tesla, but I think if you want if you want to maybe get some new blood in there and get more adaptation, that's what you got to do. You got to give everybody what they want. And we're not seeing what we want out of automation. They've got some concerns with some like the investigation and the reporting of accidents, like whether there's impropriety there or not. It's certainly not a good look. But all of that doesn't matter when the market's deciding it wants to blow up to the upside when we're getting these cuts that we want. Barring an absolute, let's say, I don't know, collapse here at the end of the day, you can see what Tesla's going to do, this wedge. It's going to close, and it's not like it hasn't. We've been up here. We've opened above this wedge before. We've never closed above this wedge. We're going to close above this descending wedge, or whatever you want to call it. Who cares? And that is pretty bullish. And we did say when Tesla gets out of this gets real spicy, and I would look for just a bullish trend off of this break of this channel. So clearly we have to still close the day up here, and then next week I will be bullish on this regardless of news and all that stuff. It looks like we're holding on to some pretty key levels for Tesla. It's hard to say this one was on the radar. This morning I was looking at SoFi and not Robinhood, Rigetti as well, and then to an extent, and we're bullish, which I'm in now. Now we're in Amazon, but that's a bit different. But was never really thinking Tesla was going to be the one. But you just can't ignore how long the stock had been condensing, doing absolutely nothing, and doing less and less and less. And now we have the chance to possibly break it out. Now we're not out of the water yet. You still need to close above about 337 for this to look good next week. But so far, so good, at least as far as the price action goes.
Yeah, I like the look on this as well. And we were kind of, again, to reiterate, that price compression that was happening, I was like, okay, well, if this really starts to push, maybe we see that 350 and a little bit closer to 350 we are getting on the day today. Cyber Beast, the price action definitely has been on the day very beast-like, aggressive push, holding highs, and even now attempting to push fresh prices on the day, 338.67. I love the structure that's been holding as well. You attempt to push the highs, step up higher. It's only been stepping up higher. Sure, every time we push since that aggressive bid that came in off of the Jackson Hole event, then you can see that after then the bid hasn't been as aggressive anymore, but definitely still in charge overall on Tesla. So I'm still watching this one, didn't really get involved, but absolutely beautiful hold of, I guess, trend above VWAP as well. And if you throw on an anchored to the event right there, you can see that held pretty well as well. So you can see that anchored right there. Both times coming in, maybe hitting a little bit of some supply in that area multiple times over and over again. Now pushing for fresh highs. So Tesla very, very strong on the day. I like it.
Up 1 3/4%. Multiple mixed headlines today. The initial one was that the H20, the China-specific export variant GPU for AI, was ending production as a result of the Chinese government advising some of its companies not to use the chip. Then we got reports that a new version, the B30A, a different Blackwell architecture, about 30 to 50% as strong as the regular version, could be developed for export to China. We'll have to wait to see whether or not that variant will get the green light from the Chinese regulator, guys.
So, yeah, it wasn't a good story. This is going to be like Tesla, because it's not like this was a good story for Nvidia. I wanted to get a higher time frame chart up. There we go. I mean, ultimately, I thought this was negative, and it probably was. Get back in there. I like you can pull charts in and out of these signals. Sometimes I just want you to stay. Ultimately, there's billions of dollars at stake for them to be able to get China sales. And if there's truth to this, then I don't think that bodes well. And we hopefully get some clarity on the call next week, because I'm sure this is going to be addressed, whether they actually halt production or not, or at least where they see China sales going in the future. I have a bad feeling about the expectations going into these earnings are going to be sky high, and it's like, well, market just made a little bit of a top, and now we've just pushed into it, getting everything we wanted. Is Nvidia going to give everybody a reason or find an excuse to sell again? Because we were used to seeing them absolutely blow things out of the water. Now, all of that said, this is a good chance on a weekly to end up a little bit of a hammer, which I think is good. Like that's pretty bullish to end up on the week. And if you throw it down, I'll just go from here because look, AMD was the one that I liked a little bit better. I was close to taking a reversion on Nvidia, but I think this story also was negative for AMD, and AMD was just a little bit cleaner. It's up a couple of points as well. But it was just a little bit cleaner at some prior highs, and it looks like it's trying to break down through yesterday's highs as well. So AMD's the one that I'm going to be looking at in terms of the chip space. I mean, Amazon's pretty much where I got in, but this is one that I'd be looking for a breakdown. And we'll get to Palantir in a second, but I do want to point out, because in the chat, a couple of people are mentioning on Palantir. That's one of the stocks I have up. I have Amazon, bullish, which I'm in. Palantir is one, and then AMD. Like, those are the 4 stocks I'm watching right now. Now, Palantir is doing a bit of a test of the volume-weighted average price. Market's at the highs, and this is already pulling back. So yes, I am looking at Palantir, but I want to see it start to fail back under, make that a wick high, close back under, and then I would look for a short on Palantir.
Right, guys. So VinFast delivered over 35,000 EVs in Q2 of 2025, marking an over 170% jump from last year. That brings their first half total to more than 72,000 EVs, up over 220% year over year. With stronger sales usually in the second half, they're on pace to easily double 2024's 97,000 units. They're also crushing it on two-wheelers, with nearly 70,000 e-scooters and bikes sold in Q2, up 430% from a year ago. And with gas-powered two-wheelers being phased out in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City by 2026, the growth potential looks huge. You can find them on the Nasdaq under ticker VFS. All right, guys, so Nvidia, super strong on the day. Yes, the outlook is definitely very juicy for Nvidia if they can get the thumbs up on that. But I think the price action kind of speaking for itself right now, stuck in a bit of a range after that selling happened at the beginning of the week. You can see that Tuesday aggressive selling, Wednesday maybe a little bit of a push into bottoms. That double bottom was nice on that 169, but bit of a strong bid right back up, and we've been holding that bid kind of overall since Wednesday. Sure, it's too little information to really say much, but that's just what's been happening this week. I like that. We're definitely going to be closing a little bit red on the week, as Monday's open was definitely higher. You can see this on the weekly as well, but well within range on the higher time frame. You can see that we did break prior bar pretty aggressively on the weekly, but we're bidding right back up into some of prior week's lows as of right now. So does this show some strength on Nvidia? I think we might be poised for fresh highs. 250s in the near future, honestly, if this trend can hold. There's nothing really breaking this trend as of right now, but that could change.
250? What happens first, everybody? I want to, you guys put it in the chat here.
200.
Okay, one is going to be Nvidia hitting $250, okay? Type 2, if you vote that Obi will actually eat his protein treat before that happens. So, defeats the it was literally like it was like 20 minutes ago. He hasn't even had a bite. It's 20 minutes ago.
Oh, that's a big bite.
Okay, well, obviously you're going to do that one first. I'm just saying. I was kind of thinking you'd actually let me have it, but it is delicious. All right, let's talk some UNH.
Oh, yeah.
It pleases me that Obi likes it. He seems like he's a tough cookie to please there. UNH, guys, still holding that 300 level after the Buffett 13F ad that we had back on, I believe, the 14th of this month. Still holding that 300 level, kind of zigging and zagging here. There's really no news headline other than to say they're expanding their ambulatory surgery centers. So there is this push into the ambulatory surgery centers, exactly, ASCS. That's really the only headline I can find.
I think if I had to guess, tech up, Q strong, we're getting our cuts, UNH blah, right? Like, it's just from 10 o'clock when Powell came on, UNH essentially made a high and has been drifting down ever since. So what was at the open, what was an exuberant stock and had been making that nice bounce off 300. We know Berkshire's made their stake, and obviously our Michael Burry as well. It just feels like when the money started going other places, you saw some of the stable, I guess it falls into the category of like the stable names or the boring names. Like the money sort of came out of those and went over into tech and small caps. So unfortunately for UNH, if this continues, I don't wonder if it doesn't retest 300 next week, which has been a good level, but not necessarily the best look for them. The fact that it's holding and is still green, I think, is a good sign. But yeah, I think this one just kind of got caught up with the theme of the day, which was pile back into risk and pile into the small caps and IWM names, and get yourselves out of some healthcare stuff, get yourselves out of and some selling, not a heavy selling, but some selling in like the Pepsi of the world and some selling in UNH. And I think it's just not a huge deal unless this thing loses 300 again. I think you're absolutely fine. It's proven so far that it's been able to hold up after all of those 13F filings, not really filling in the entirety of the gaps. I think you're still good as long as 300 holds.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think the consolidation high is what I'm looking at over here. Aggressive push, we talked about that 600 flush, and then consolidation, a little bit of a pull back down. We were talking about this last week. And then I was like, yeah, that consolidation high is sitting at 326s, maybe a little bit higher, I think, on, let's go take a look at some of the after hours prices here as well. All right, so what is that specific high? 328.80 I have. All right, so 328.80, let's round it up, 329s. If it holds, if it pushes up into that 328, 329 area and holds significantly, I like that for maybe a little bit of a push back up. Again, there's not a lot of action all the way back up to 380, kind of just a straight tank all the way down. So I like that, but here's the thing. Since we've been down here, Neil, we've been selling off of this area multiple times over and over again. The question becomes, yeah, sure, you can look for the breakout as well, but what's to say that there's still supply sitting right here anyways, right? Maybe longer consolidation. Who knows? I have no idea, but those are some of the levels that I like, and maybe looking for certain types of price action to confirm bias around those areas. If it happens, I like it. If it doesn't, then maybe I won't be involved. I think that's kind of how I'm looking at it. But yeah, a bit of a bid, expanding volume on that push. Let's see if we can get more volume through this high. That'll be a better look for maybe a bit of a higher time frame reversion. Definitely aggressively sold off for sure. A little overextended.
Up around 2% is Palantir. Again, no specific catalyst on this one, but did it get a nice bump up there at around 10 o'clock when Powell's comments started coming out, and it's breaking down now below that 160 level that it was rejecting back on the 20th. So keep your eye on Palantir here. Still up about 1.97, but losing some ground.
All-time highs, like market's all-time highs.
Everything is strong. What's crazy about it is, like Obi was saying, Intel back at the highs, Google at the highs, the market at the highs. Palantir, you expect to finish that sentence with Palantir at the highs. Generally speaking, usually I feel like that's the way that it's going, but it's not. It's relatively weak today. Now this morning, I mean, sometimes you're fortunate. Like right before 10 o'clock. Like granted, I knew at 10 o'clock that I needed to be covering. So I covered the bulk of the short, knowing that at 10 o'clock anything could happen. And then, of course, always have a stop order. There's a very good reason, because when I held on to the last 10% of my short Palantir this morning, if I didn't have a stop, you can imagine what would have happened. And then I caught one small reversion, but got the you-know-what out of Dodge at 57 on that. I tried a couple of scalp longs, but this has just not had the strength in the follow-through. So like weirdly enough, my best trades on Palantir somehow managed to be short today. It doesn't make sense, but that's just how it is. And going back to that, well, market's at the highs. This is trying to battle the volume-weighted average price. I saw in the chat that someone said valuations are now even a bigger concern. I don't disagree with you. Valuations matter when they matter. And I think we're probably entering a time where valuations can start to matter. All of that said, Palantir has bounced and held. Like if you look at the trend line, it's been on the same uptrend. It broke out the top, but if you look at the uptrend since May, all we did is liquidity grab underneath and then close above, and then hold the line. Then we liquidity grabbed this morning, which I was banking was a breakdown if Powell went the other way, which it is what it is. But it held, and we're going to once again, barring something crazy, hold on to this trend line. So yeah, you could be right, but technically you have a hammer candle, a hold of the low. Usually that resolves itself with a little bit of strength. That's the higher time frame look. The shorter time frame look is the market's at the highs and this is trending down. Other things are trending up, but this is trending down as we speak. So I want to look for this entry off of VWAP, which hasn't really set itself up yet, but this is one that I'm looking in the other direction, at least for this afternoon. If we can hold and break this high, maybe do something like here. That's not the best trend line, but it's good enough. Like if it gets above VWAP and starts breaking out above here, great. Then I can go for the Palantir long. But until I see that happen, I'm gonna look for the under VWAP short on Palantir. And someone just said NEO looks like a good reversion.
NEO, yeah, I've been.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
Let's see if that's. Well, it's been. You know what? I think the reversion kind of. It makes a lot more sense to be in a lot higher. That's all I'm going to say about that.
But it did this yesterday. It's
starting to roll over now. But here's the thing: you can take the breakdown of the rollover as well. If you like, you're like, this should go on the rollover. Maybe that's higher EV.
Maybe.
There's different ways. There's so many different ways. I just like it a little bit higher. I think. I don't know. But whatever. The trade is the trade. I think if it's going to break down, it's right there.
Could work.
But speaking of reversions, that's the one on Palantir. Look at this beautiful, steady bid, and as soon as that kind of cracks, we just have a slow and steady grind and structure holding lower and lower, almost stair-stepping down, all the way down back to VWAP. So beautiful reversion to VWAP happening there on Palantir. I like that. Maybe we talked about this range, right, Neil? And this is my fault for not taking this trade. I was like, yesterday's range, I just want to look for a breakout and hold of that range. Guess what it did, Neil? Right there. This is maybe 158, sure, if you want to call it that. Yeah. So we come back in, we drop down to 156. Again, it's not a price, it's more of an area. You want it to hold a specific area. It holds it pretty well, reclaims that 58, if you want to be specific, and then holds and breaks once again at that 160. So multiple places to potentially take the continuation there. I definitely wasn't involved. That's my fault, but beautiful, beautiful price action here on Palantir on the day today, off of that prior day range break. Sure, on the initial attempt, look, it doesn't work. We attempt to break down off of the opening range, and that, again, if that goes right away, that's pretty nice, but it doesn't work. So, okay, maybe you're getting stopped out on that, but you can see building, opening range high break, pre-market high break, prior day range high break. All of those worked really well on the initial push, and then the continuation trade was definitely there as well. Nice hold above VWAP if you're watching that. If you're putting that anchored on here, once again, off of the event, we're looking at a hold of that as well. And sure, there's another anchored up here. So if you were looking at that anchored, then you're getting almost picture perfect entries on the second pullback where demand comes in right at a place of interest from before, and then that continuation might become a little bit more confluenced for your trade.
The confluence.
Beautiful, beautiful price action on Palantir. Unfortunately, again, it's really nice and pretty talking about it after it's happened, but you got to take it while it's happening. That's the real stuff, right? You can only charts look pretty.
Well, what's crazy is, especially in moments like this morning, like you can really only look at when that kind of a move is happening. You're looking at one thing at a time because there's way too much price action. Like you saw me I made 2 trades. I took after Powell, it was like short the reversion on AMD and go long Opendoor. I didn't do anything else because you got to stare one thing down to try to get in because the volatility is so nuts. It's like you're not really going to be in 5 or 6 things at once in that kind of volatility. If you're like, that's just kind of crazy when it's happening. So Palantir looks like it's trying to break this trend. Look, if it held the trend down and broke under VWAP, I'd probably look for that short. But certainly, if it wants to break trend to the upside, that's also a trade. I like reversions either direction, and it's hilarious to me. Someone was like, Neil, look at Circle. And then I pulled up Circle's chart, and it's just, you get yourself that FOMO because that was a perfect setup. But I think the thing about Circle here, I'll pull it up on another chart just so you can see, because I don't want to get off Palantir. Whoops, that's going to be New York, isn't it? Of course it is. Why can't they just all be on the... It'd be so much easier if it just automatically did that for me. Circle's reversion is the only one that followed through. Look at the way it followed through.
Absolutely beautiful.
Like, that's insane. That's pretty much textbook.
I'm not seeing a better reversion on the day today.
No, there wasn't one, but here's the thing. What's the reason I would have been looking at Circle today? I don't particularly have one. I have zero reason why I would have been looking at that stock, so like I can't get that FOMO. Oh, Amazon must have broken the high of the day, so it looks like the market is breaking up. I'm not taking high of the day breaks, but my stop on that reversion was the high of the day, so it breaks the high and I jump out of the trade. Right now, I'm looking for Palantir to break this trend upside as the next possible trade. It's spent the last 3 hours, 2.5, going down on this trend, breaking it. The longer the trend is, the more I like it. For sure. Oh, thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Bob the dog with the super chat. The TTV crew has a demanding job and does it for free. We all make more money thanks to the crew versus alone. Let's go, viewers. Chip in as a thank you. You know how you guys can chip in? Just keep doing what you already do. Support each other in the community. Jump in here, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Help each other out. When someone asks a question in the chat that we miss, if someone asks a question in the chat about trading, and we don't see it, and we might miss it, and you know the answer because you've got some experience, what happens? You guys jump in there, and you answer the question for everybody else, or maybe you throw in your opinion if you happen to have knowledge about something. I'm not an options guy. I have probably limited knowledge when it comes to crypto, and a lot of times we'll see these answers pop in there. And thank you so much, MF Dane, for the super chat. We appreciate you. But that's what it's all about. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, grow the community so that we can all get better together. And the other thing that's amazing about this, I got to show you this. Okay, Palantir is breaking the trend. Hasn't really closed above it yet. Here, I'll nibble first, and I'll get in more when it closes. I shouldn't say when. I should say if it closes above the trend. But I got to show you something here. You're in Intel right now, but I can tell you, when this move happened on Intel, you know what you not. Adara brought the news, and it was pulling back. It was literally pulling back like this when Adara brought the news. So much so that I was like, huh, is that really? And then all of a sudden, I was punching the high of the day.
Yeah, almost 15, 20 seconds later, the stock starts to move. So I was just like, oh boy, like we were one of the first to know.
After Adara said it live on the show.
But that being said, there was also, I think I showed you a post, there was options flow that came in about 5 minutes earlier. So maybe we didn't know first.
Well,
This is why the markets will always tell you before anything else.
Yes.
Anything else. And
that's just how.
Initially, it used to only come out on the tape, but you got to remember, the options market is very, very, I guess, opportune. And people will likely place bets there first before they do it on the.
It was crazy. Why did that didn't break low? Oops. The
interesting stuff is that it did come in a little bit earlier. Regardless, doesn't matter. The move is there. It happened. It gave you multiple times to get in for this push a little bit higher. So, you know what? Regardless, doesn't matter. There's always going to be participants who are before you, after you. The question becomes, what are you doing? What's your execution set? How do you get into something like that? If you like the breaking news setups, how do you get into the breaking news setups as fast as possible? Are you watching options flow? Are you scraping the interwebs for news?
Did you say the interwebs?
Yes.
Okay.
You haven't heard that?
No, I've heard it. I haven't heard it in a while.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the best super chat we've ever gotten. Joe Ventura, $22.74. A penny for every oh boy since the market opened. I hate to break it to you, Joe Ventura. You probably have to pony up for more than that the way Obi drops the oh boys. That's at least.
That's a lot of oh boys.
That's at least 34.50.
That's at least.
At least.
At least
5.50. 5 bills.
I love that meme. I think we've talked about that meme before, where SpongeBob and Patrick kind of walk into this, I think it's a mattress store or whatever, and then he asks them, "Whoa, how many?" And it's just stacked to the ceiling, everywhere. And he asks them, "How many? Whoa, there's a bit of size there." 25.19.
Someone explained to me, like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter to me, but why exactly is bullish not buying up? Like, there's something very fishy happening on this stock. And I get it, whatever. It's scalping under VWAP for the short. This looks very standard. Hey, Stock breaks out in the morning, fails the high, and then holds underneath. But then you think about it for a second, like I'm doing right now, and I remind myself that ETH is at 48, and the IBIT chart looks like that. ETH chart looks like that. Coinbase chart looks like, anyways. It's just like, what the heck is going on with bullish? I'm not complaining about it. Yeah, Palantir doesn't have the juice, man. I just keep trying it in out flat. It gets holding VWAP, but it won't go. Still trending down. I'm gonna wait for it to get under VWAP. That's not the one. It just doesn't make sense to me on bullish. Like, here's the thing about like bullish. Maybe it's because of yesterday. That's a possible theory. It was so strong after finally turning the corner for a couple of days, and it just went right back into doing what it does because it failed its opening low. But on a day where we have all this exuberance going on, this cannot get going. The entire crypto space is running, and bullish is the most bearish. It's not the most bearish. I mean, Circle's not doing well either. It's just this and Circle. But like this one's trying to go. Circle's not even trying to do anything. Like Circle is just dying. Like it's just falling apart. Like actually that makes more sense to me. Like if it's weak, it's weak. It just falls apart. What's happening in bullish is someone is just selling it at 69 every single time. It gets up there and it's like just very slowly. There's buyers that are trying to go with the market. So I'm just gonna keep on this over and over and over. Someone says MSTR is doing something similar. Maybe there's like some weird hedge going on. Nah, but MSTR is up and holding it. It's one thing holding the top, and it's another thing holding these higher lows and not even attempting to break back out. That's what gets me. And I don't believe in the bullish stock. I don't own it, wouldn't own it, have no desire to own it. It's just when I'm seeing everything else doing what it's doing, I'm a little surprised by it. You take advantage of it because you see the pattern, but ultimately, I don't know what's going on with that stock.
I like the way it's breaking out on the weekly. We talked about this morning.
It looks strong.
On the weekly, it looks pretty bullish.
It looks good.
On the short term, for whatever reason. What was that?
Yalla.
Another super chat. Okay, true. I have this earpiece, and I'm like, what? I didn't hear what you said there. But yeah, no, another super chat. Yalla Studio asking, PLTR has FVG to fill up? No, and by FVG, I think you mean a fair value gap. All right, let's take a look on PLTR. Okay, so I'll save that meme for later there. PLTR, let's take a quick look right here and see what fair value gap you were talking about. Better maybe take a look here at the intels and maybe taking a little bit of a potential pullback. You can see the market pulling back here as well. But let's go to a weekly, and I want to see what fair value gap you're talking about. Do you mean VWAP? What do you mean? Is there a gap here that I'm not seeing here? Because on the larger time frame, I think what gap are you really talking about? Unless you're talking about the daily chart, then this gap right here up into 171s, maybe that's what you're talking about. Sure, 170s. I think that if we continue to hold structure and push a little bit higher, I think that, yeah, sure, why not? That 170 definitely is an interesting level to look out for here on Palantir. Let's just take a look at the hourly as well and see how that's been building. I like to take a look at the pre-market and the after-hours session as well. So those gaps, sure, maybe I see them a little bit differently. I understand what you're talking about, maybe when you're talking about that gap. But yeah, there's not a lot of action that's happened here. So maybe you assume that the travel back up into some of these levels where action kind of started will be kind of smooth sailing, and that's the filling of the gap. I understand that concept, but the fact of the matter is that the market never really goes as cleanly as you would kind of expect. So that's when I'm starting to use maybe potential structures. You can see this 160, 161 area in the past has held as a little bit of resistance and then pushed up aggressively when price did go through there with volume on earnings day one. So coming back into this, we're holding that same kind of an area as a bit of resistance. Even the push on the day today is holding that as maybe a little bit of a supply zone. So unless and until we can distinctly get off of this, maybe the sellers step off, or whatever it is, if we can hold up a little bit higher and build up a little bit higher, sure, you can kind of come up with an iteration of the chart where it potentially steps up into that 172. If that's what you're looking for, you always got to ask, what do I guess, what am I looking for on the chart? What am I looking for in the price action? What am I looking for it to do? And how am I going to actually trade it to start off? And I think that it is poised for a little bit of a push. I liked the long here. I really liked the short as well the past, I guess, beginning of the week. But we are doing a little bit of a higher time frame reversion here on Palantir. So that's the look on Palantir. We got another super chat here, Neil, by Bob the Dog, asking you specifically, SOXL, bullish pennant on the multi-time frame.
Yeah, I can't argue. I can't argue against it. The thing about SOXL is I don't know that I'd ever prefer to be in this versus you see every single day like what goes on in like AMD, Nvidia, sometimes Intel, Micron. Individually, as a day trader, I just find like that's always a better place to be. But really, yeah, I can't argue. You have a very, very clear trend break. You have a clear consolidation, and it does look like it's a potential break. But here's the problem. What happens next week on Wednesday? Does any of this matter if Nvidia decides to sell? Not really. Right? Like you can take all the technicals you want. If the market doesn't like what Nvidia says on Wednesday, that's all out the window. So it's almost like, yeah, it could break, but this is the other side of the coin. If Nvidia goes, then you're going to get this breakout. Fantastic. But unless you're already in off support here, I don't know that you want to be buying into this top. If you're into that sort of thing, I don't gamble going into earnings. I like to make plays after earnings. I like picking up things. I was talking about this with the guy in the back office. I like it when you have an earnings where I'm like, I feel like I'm getting something at a good price, and this looks good technically, and the market sold this off too much or whatever, and then you take something a few days after. Like I love that play. I'm not really much of the go in front, and that's to me what you'd be doing here when it comes to SOXL. Oh, don't give me a break. Opendoor is still. I look up and like Open is still going. It's so gentle. Like it's
just
gentle.
A steady grind up.
It's very, very steady. There's nothing out of control here.
Got to be open to taking it, man.
There's just there's not really any.
Be open to taking that gradual grind up.
The dips just haven't been there.
Open to buy the dips.
The stock is crazy. And what I do know is there's also a ridiculous amount of size a lot of times on the offer. Like right now, they'll just pop 300K on the offer of Open. And then, 86 has size, and then 90. Like and it doesn't matter. Like it's gonna do, we got 500 million shares of volume already. So it's gonna do 6, probably 7 by the end of the day here, potentially. So it's gonna chew through a lot of those levels. So I expect to see 1 million on the 5 if it gets there. And maybe the way to play it is a fail break of the 5 should give you a dip to buy into, because that's what happened on Intel. Like Intel broke Intel size at 25, fail break 25, but then the dip was right into the prior high, so you could do that long. I mean, the better play would be to do it twice. Obi, I don't know if anyone caught that the second time on Intel. I'm not sure. Is it possible? Did somebody get that? Anybody?
Maybe, potentially.
Somebody? Okay, that's good.
Somebody might have gotten that.
Yeah, that's good. So maybe Opendoor does something like that, where it gets into 5 and then your dip is the failed break through the even dollar, and then you buy the dip off of that. Maybe it won't be the prior high, but I think that's the kind of play I'll look for to get into Open for sure. And Bob, was Bill BPB in the chat. Ever since the YouTuber has all these words, like all the @ and all the names are different, I find these a lot more random ones here. But I think holding into earnings is gambling. I will take trades off the earnings. Now, I'm with you. But here's the thing. Take everything I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm not saying what I do is the right way to approach it. Everyone has to make their own decisions. Like maybe Joe's got a different opinion, maybe Obi's got a different opinion, and Sean. Just over time, you develop what works for you. It's more the thought process that goes into it. Just make sure you've got a good thought process. I'm sure we have traders that have all kinds of quality strategies going into earnings and taking shots before earnings. I just know that I don't like it. So things would have to be perfect. Now, every once in a while, like I might get into something like weeks before earnings that has nothing to do with the earnings, and I just so happen to hold through. That's a different story. I did that with Snowflake. It set something up technically, and it would happen to be a month before earnings. I'm like, that's fine. And I held through the earnings, and it worked out for me. But that's very different than buying it like a day before, 2 days before, 3 days before, that kind of a thing. So what else is going on here? I did want to do this for the afternoon for everybody because it's almost power hour. So let's see what you guys want to talk about in power hour. I'm going to do the reset here. Thank you, Fabian. We're going to do the fresh start. Now, when you type your symbols in, please remember $ something. So like I will say $ Tesla because I just saw people putting Tesla in the chat, but they weren't doing $. Every time you type a symbol into the chat, if you hit $, then we know what are the most popular symbols. You don't need to spam it. Hertz immediately starts popping into #1, but that's only a couple. As they start filling in, we'll revisit this and make sure. It just gives us a better idea because I'm going to be looking at the charts I have up and the stocks that I'm watching, and it's not always easy to be at looking at exactly what you guys want. Figma, I haven't looked at Fubo. Why did? Okay, Fubo. Why not Fubo? I think it was Fubo. I wanted to watch this new show. So there's a Stephen King, a really good Stephen King book, one of my favorites called The Institute, and they made a TV show of it. I'm like, yo, Jam, I gotta watch this. I can't watch it anywhere. I literally cannot watch this. I have every streaming service on the planet and I can't watch this thing. And I'm pretty sure when I looked it up, it's like a Fubo TV. And I wanted to throw something. I'm like, you kidding me? I literally pay for every streaming service and I can't watch it. And if there's somewhere that I'm missing it, please tell me. The Institute.
Yeah, I think
I'm not doing it.
I'm not
doing it illegally, Rob.
I got one thing to say to that, Neil, and that is R. We got breaking news with Adara.
Yeah, DJT pushing higher here. Now, this might be because apparently we're seeing some report from the ABC News that Ghislaine Maxwell did not provide any incriminating information on high-profile individuals with regards to the Epstein list. Now, why is it significant for DJT? Because we know the stock dropped back on June 5th when Elon Musk suggested that Trump might be implicated. So that is likely why this is running. I just want to mention this because of this push to the upside. And we're going to take a moment here while we're here to thank our friends at Beta Pro by Global X Canada. Exciting news for Canadian sophisticated traders because Beta Pro by Global X Canada has just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs offering 3x bull and 3x bear exposure to the S&P and TSX 60 semiconductors and U.S. Treasuries. But even better, they're offering a new special rebate, dropping management fees to just 65 basis points until December 31st, 2025. These ETFs also employ currency hedging to seek to neutralize U.S. dollar exposure, providing performance that may more accurately reflect the underlying U.S. equity indices. So if you are a tactical, sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Really quickly, before I send you guys back to the guys, check out X at TTV Research. In honor of Intel's Wild Day, I want to do this annual revenue infographic. And sorry to Pat Gelsinger, but I will point out the elephant in the room. Since he was appointed as CEO, the revenue only dropped sharply during his short tenure. Sorry, Pat, back to you.
And it's not just any time that revenue started dropping. I mean, it's only the golden era for chips. Like you have to, when you put that into context, it's just so much worse. So much worse. Like it's literally the moment at which the AI, everything was starting to take hold. What are you going to do? I understand COVID down, but it was just so bad. Opendoor is still at the high. It's still slowly grinding higher, but Adara's got more for us.
Guys, it's been quite the day. As I'm sure you know, keep an eye on Robinhood, HOOD. They just announced here on X that you can now trade event contracts for the U.S. Open on Robinhood. Worth noting as well, on September 9th, Robinhood is set to hold an event and make some announcements. It's funnily enough, this is actually the same day that Apple is reportedly slated to hold its iPhone event, but that's not yet been confirmed. Again, Robinhood here announcing that you can trade event contracts for the U.S. Open on HOOD. And back to you.
Disappointing. I'd say this is disappointing for Robinhood so far today. Like it's kind of like Palantir. It's just pulling back. The market holds on to the highs, and it just can't seem to sustain the move. You do have to wonder, like I'm looking at some of these stocks and like you put them into a bit of a corner, like you would expect them to be a little bit, like it was the frothy stocks that are catching a lot of the bid today. But then when I look at it across the board, like there's so much strength in the MAG, like the MAG 7 right now. Like, I mean, Amazon continues to go higher. Like Robinhood, Palantir can't seem to break above VWAP. Like some of these other ones aren't nearly as strong as you might think. So I feel like this could be a little bit weaker. Bob, I did address SOXL. Apologies if you missed it. We did talk about SOXL for a little bit there, Bob. Yeah, this is a weird one for Robinhood. Cannot seem to get off the schneid. Like I look over at SoFi. We like you, SoFi. We love you, SoFi. SoFi's at the high, pun not intended. Right? Like it's literally trying to break it out. SoFi was my FOMO stock of the day because, on my note, the trade was a breakout on SoFi. Unfortunately, it broke before Powell at 10 o'clock and failed to break. And then when it broke on Powell, like, what are you going to do? It was just not even there. This is pulling back, and this is breaking trend as well. Like, it's starting to come back in here. I feel like we're very slowly rolling over. Yep. So I got to revisit some of the slow roll. Like, are we losing VWAP? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we're losing VWAP on. That happened rather quickly. We're losing VWAP on Palantir here for sure. Yeah, it looks like we're starting to slow down in the market. I still have that. Bullish is different because it's just holding that 69 level the entire way. But I wanted to be in something new. And now that we're under VWAP and Palantir, I want to jump to the sell side there. There was, Opendoor, maybe it cares, maybe it doesn't. It feels like this is a stock that might not give a what the market does. Like some of the bigger names pull back, it's just still slowly grinding higher. So I'm waiting for a failed break of 5 to buy the dip, like Intel did the same thing at 25. But for now, Palantir losing VWAP is the one that I want to pay attention to in here. Nasdaq not doing much, but there is a little bit of a rollover happening. If there's any weakness, Palantir has been trend down essentially since 11 o'clock. And I've tried to get the long going. It just feels like this one's going to have to be a short. It could flat bottom break, but I'd rather get in on some kind of a pop into VWAP here.
Yeah, another name that's going right now, Neil, is Opendoor. We just talked about that $5 mark. Nice. And this is absolutely crazy, just steady grinding right back up into that prior level here. So let's just scroll back. And that wasn't very long ago. That was just a few weeks ago, Neil. Okay, oh boy. All right, so let's go to the 15-minute chart. That might be a little bit better. No, thank you. I already have that. Okay, cool. Here we go. So let's see the high, $4.97. Let's take VWAP out of there, right there. So VWAP not really playing a part here on the multi-day. That's intraday VWAP. I like anchored VWAPs a little bit better to use for multi-day. But we're pushing right up into there, only about 6 pennies away, Neil, from that high on Opendoor. Oh boy, aggressive push into power hour on a Friday. That's interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit of a squeeze potential there. And yeah, let's just go through what the I guess the breakdown of this the stock is here. On the day, done about 480 million shares traded at roughly 360 open to $4.93 as of right now. So you can get an understanding of how much dollar volume has been pushing into the stock. 3.6 billion market cap and a float of 642 million shares. So it's got a lot of shares to go around. You know.
Well, that's the thing we were talking about. And the volume's so big that shorts, anybody that's shorting it is getting ample opportunity to get out. It's not a traditional squeeze type play. That's the thing.
Got a short float of 23.4%. About a quarter is sitting. But a quarter of 600 million.
It's a lot. But the ability to turn it over is huge. So if anybody that wanted to cover has had their opportunity. I just question whether people have been covering. That's the thing. If people wanted to get out, they're out easily because there's so much volume every single day. But hedgies get real stubborn. Like the thing about it gets weird. Like I get the feeling that a lot of short hedges, like when you look at where they get, and when we pulled up a chart, we had Michael Noss on actually. Let's finish this thought on Opendoor because everyone should be, but not everybody was watching when we discussed this with Michael. When this started to see its bigger increases of short float, it was underneath $1. Like think about the insanity of that. Like there's obvious levels where you'd be trying to pick this one up if you're like a hedge fund that just leans on the stock. But I don't know that right after it's taken the 50 period and is consolidating under $1 would have necessarily been that moment. So I guarantee you there are shorts that are getting into it in front of this 5 thinking this is going to be another big fail. Sure. And that's the case. But because it probably works so often and for so long, and with levels like this, you know that there are probably funds that are like, this is it. We're loading into this level because every single time you have, that just makes your year. Not forget your quarter, that'll make your year and make your decade or whatever. So this is what they do when it gets to levels like that. That said, if we break away, bye-bye. Bye-bye. So you know, look, you know which side I'm rooting for? Always to the upside. Like this stock, it could do some, but there's a lot of size it's chewing through around the $5 level when you look at that daily chart. That's the issue. That's why I think it fails 5 the first time today. I think it'll try to break 5. I think it'll dip, and then I think that it's the buy the dip is a play. What's that?
Will there be a backside though?
Oh, there's always a backside. It's just
oh boy. I'm waiting.
I'm waiting. What I was going to say is it's just a matter of how big it is, but I meant that in the actual move.
How big the actual move is can dictate how big the backside is. And usually some of the best reversions also tend to be very symmetrical, so visually appealing as well, front side and backside. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And
I'm just talking about the move in the stock. You guys can.
Absolutely beautiful. So
you know how Obi's always dropping those.
I like.
hints.
No, I don't. There's no hints. What do you mean? The price action is so beautiful. I can't. Maybe I'm fantasizing too much about the price action. Here's the thing. The trade is the trade. 420 hold on Opendoor, and oh boy, did that really open us up for some fresh highs on the day? And yeah, continuing to push. Now only about 4 pennies away from that prior high, Neil. So day high is 494. And yeah, there's a lot of bids happening here, and yeah. So let's I want to watch a little bit of that tape. Let's see how that tape kind of comes in here on open, and yeah, let's open on the Nasdaq. Oh boy, that's a lot of size. So let's put on a size filter there as well. We can see that I've definitely not been involved on the stock today, but multiple opportunities. I think there are multiple places to get long, as well. Just trying to look for that push into that $5 mark. I'm probably not going to chase it all the way up here, but if you have a said playbook, then I think that you got to just follow your playbook. I like the push. There's size coming up in front of $5 as well. Let's forget about the chart here and actually take a look at the book, because chart's not really going to do us any good as of right now. I think that we know that it's been in an aggressive uptrend. We've held base on top of VWAP, and we're stepping up. Structure is stepping up. So right now the question becomes, how well can we push through 5, and how well do we sustain? Some of my gates here are duplicated, so just dismiss that. But yeah, a lot of size kind of showing up here, and this is kind of how some of these lower price stocks kind of look, right? There's what, 10,000? Is that both on an ARCA? No, that's an ADGX. There's some ARCA. There's a Nasdaq book. Okay, cool. So we got about just over, I guess, 16,000, 17,000 lots sitting at $5. Do some quick maths. I'm not good at that, and that's a good, decent chunk of change.
What? You could do it.
I'm horrible at quick math.
No, you're not.
I need to take some time out and do some mental math exercise.
Do some Duolingo. Duolingo has math. They got music on there. Yes.
Long DUOL.
You didn't know that?
I don't know about that. I thought it was just a language.
Languages. There's like basic math. There's, like I said, literally my daughter's learning to like read music, which, whatever. I didn't even know she was doing it. It just, all of a sudden, I'm like, what are you doing on? And then there was like a piano keys, and I'm like, what? Aren't you supposed to be doing French? But then I'm like, okay, well, you're learning, so like, what the heck do I care? Like, it's crazy. They have such a, man, the chart of Duo stinks, so I'm about to praise the stock, and I'm about to praise the company, and this chart looks like trash. But no, like we have to, it's a fight to get the iPad or, well, tablet away. We don't let her have the iPad. To get the tablet away from her when she's doing her Duo at night. Like, she's like, I just want to keep doing it. Like, she loves it. And she'll go through all of them. She'll do math, and then she'll do her French, because she's learning French, and then she'll do some music. And it's like, go just a couple more lessons, you're supposed to be going to sleep. But I like that. Like, it works to give them passion for learning. That being said, they know exactly what they're doing, and it's incredibly addictive. And they get you on this thing where you just got to get as many points as possible. But XP. But Duo, the stock actually looks pretty bad today. This is the thing, and I'm glad someone had put this in the chat. Ultimately, if it's in trouble today, and it's not like a staple stock, like I can understand why Procter & Gamble might be down today, or Pepsi might be down today, or Coke. But Duo, that's not good. You know, that's not a name that you want to be weak on a day like today. So, yeah, red flag, red flag, red flag. It's true. But I'll keep it real. You know, no one's paying me to praise Duolingo, but it's fantastic in my household. My wife uses it as well. I'm terrible. I probably should. I'm terrible with languages. It's literally, it was my worst. All of my worst subjects were always languages.
Really, yeah.
I was just whatever. I sucked. I mean, I got decent enough grades because you got to be resourceful sometimes.
Yes,
at school.
for sure. Yeah. No.
You gotta maintain those A's.
Yeah.
Any way you can, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and I can't speak a lick of French.
Yeah, no, I wasn't so amazing at French. And again, at the same time, I think it depends on like teachers and professors as well. If the teacher and professor is kind of, you know, doing their job and being engaging and, you know, really kind of catering to their classes, students' individual needs, as well as the class as a whole, I think usually they do a good job in, you know, getting the material across. Like there were certain teachers
some teachers are better than others. That being
for
said,
sure. Some teachers, dude, I barely had to study because their teaching was so good. I just remembered so many things just based off of the way that they taught.
Just don't blame anything on the teacher.
No,
because if you go home and
then there was other teachers that
my brother
really
would
didn't
get in trouble
care.
for that all the time. Like he'd be, yeah, my mom'd be like, yeah, okay, so maybe your teacher isn't good. What's your point?
Yeah.
Like it's just
That's when you start to realize.
Try that nonsense.
I mean, no, in university, you start to realize you're just like, okay, well, yeah, damn, I gotta learn this stuff by myself. Because no one's really going to be like, sure, you can use your resources. You start to learn how to use your resources to actually.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: you go through a bunch of schooling, and the one thing that you actually do, maybe potentially end up doing, is learning how to learn, right? And I think that's probably a good life skill. But do you really need to pay all of that to do that? I don't know. It's a mystery question. But
stay in school, everybody.
Yeah, stay in school.
I don't want to get the wrong idea.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, you want to go to school. You want to build those skills.
Not just, no, man.
The system can definitely
build the relationships that you make in school. Like I don't give a look, man. My degree didn't. I met some really, really good people in university. I had fun, and I was fortunate. There were two big universities where I went to school in that town. So here's it. Who cares? $5 is happening on Opendoor right now. There's a couple mil on the offer. As we speak. Oh, why has someone wanted me to look at Intel, and that's why I have it up there. But there's a couple mil on the offer if you quickly add that up. As you can see there, yeah, it's about 2 million. But that 2 million shares doesn't matter. It's going to blow through this if it wants to. You can see the volume going through. It's so much. Look at all the midpoint fills. That is insane. Someone just loaded up at 99.5 on, well, look, selling can be anything. It could have easily just been somebody getting out of a long. I would like to think probably someone scalping short and loaded up there at 99.5. But I'm looking for a failed break of 5. So attempt to break. It hasn't broken 5 yet. Pull back, dip, and then go for it. Although the only trade I made today on Opendoor was actually a breakout trade. At this time of day, after power hour, I'm looking for the pullback on any kind of a dip here for open. I did reload, and I get it one more time. I reloaded that bullish in front of that 69 and VWAP high. But my eyes are all over open right now.
All right, guys. So in Africa, a new generation of leaders is rising. The woman boss empowers them. We provide the training and mentorship to women and girls who need to start businesses, create change, and build sustainable futures. We've already impacted over 10,000 lives. Your contribution creates the next opportunity. Scan the QR code now and empower the next woman leader today. So the market is looking like it's taking a little bit of a turn here, Neil. A little bit of a curl continuation happening here, but that $5 is still holding. We're still knocking on that door of $5 as of right now. So yeah, I'm just watching a little bit of both here. But first, we got some breaking news with Adara.
Keep an eye here on RDW. This is Redwire, the company announcing on their blog that their autonomy stalker uncrewed aerial system has been showcased at the Army Expeditionary Warrior Experiments. So Army showcase here for RDW, this one pushing higher. It has moved like this in the past as well. Back to you.
Thank you very much there. Rivian Millionaire asked a question. Neil, were you surprised by the move this morning? Of course. Absolutely. We don't get moves like that when the Fed literally has a rate decision. So I was surprised by it. What was more frustrating was, like in the morning was crazy as if you watch the tape, I was more long than I was short. Like it was one of those things where both the longs, they just ran the bottoms so that you were sitting there and likely out of your longs, and then the shorts were working at the moment that that statement came out at 10 o'clock. Like, what can you do? Like, I was in there, I'm like, these are the shorts I like, and I like more longs than I like shorts, but the short was the one that was working. So there's a $5 break. Of course, it's so far clean. So I almost said hood, but open just broke 5. It's looking pretty. Okay, there's the dip. Now when the 40, did you go short?
Nope.
There's the dip, there's the fail break. Let's see if it gets down into the prior high. I call it like a 4.8, like 4.8 to 4.83. So let's see if it can get down there before catching a bit of bid. They already bought it up at 90s here. That was wild. It got to 8. It got to 5.08, and now you're getting the pullback, and they're buying it right back in. Come on, can it dip a little further? We're still in the 3-minute chart, so we're still in that first little bit of a candle. Palantir just came in front of 59 for me, so I just got into Palantir. That's underneath VWAP as the market's trying to roll. But see that massive volume spike? This is why I didn't want to take that breakout. Now, granted, you could have hit 01s for pretty much like whatever your buying power, like anybody. Like there's so much liquidity there. You could have hit 01s and like scalped it to 5 or 6. And in theory, if you're really fast, you could have just done really, really well there. But yeah, here comes the pullback now on open. With curiosity, I don't even know if I can short this. Oh, I can. I just realized I didn't even. Okay, it's free short. I just realized I didn't even know because I hadn't checked. But here comes that 480 level. Let's see if any buyers actually start to come into this thing. That's wild. Actually, you should always check to be sure.
No. I thought you knew already. That's why I'm just sitting here. I'm like waiting. It's the first sign of maybe potential sellers coming in. But that $5 area was great. I like that. I like that for the short. But I'm watching. I'm being patient. Again, I think that being a Friday, going into the last, I guess, almost 45 minutes now, as we're coming into the first close of the first 15-minute candle in a power hour as of right now. Intel taking a little bit of a pullback there. I did piece out of all of it. I did piece out of the Google as well. I missed the Google reversion, man. I think that 208 area was nice. 207.50s if you're a little later. Maybe this consolidation low, 207.20s. I like that. But unfortunately, I got in too close to 207s just to take a quick 50-penny push a little bit lower. But I think bigger picture, if we do revert all the way back down, 205s and change might be coming in there if this downtrend is to continue. So, excuse me. Yeah, I'm still watching that. Opendoor taking a little bit of a breakdown here through maybe a $5 false break. We kind of talked about this. We said that every time it comes up here, maybe a little bit of a supply shows up. So do you expect it to be clean on the first initial push? I don't know. It's really up to you. And it doesn't matter if you do or not. Do you have an effective execution set to take off whatever the market is showing you and giving you as well? So a little bit of a pullback happening here, still holding trend to the upside, still holding structure to the upside. On a shorter frame, sure, Opendoor did crack that, and it is a false break. And if you did take the $5 shorts, you got about 15 pennies, pretty nice, right away off of that one. So
in fairness, you could have scalped the long.
Yeah, you could have 100% scalped.
You 100% could have gotten in and out. Like it's not crazy to go 0-1 long and out 5, 6, or 7. Like, that's not insane. Like, traders do that all the time. I didn't personally, let's be real, I did something similar at 425. It really was only looking for about a 20, 30 cent quick break. I'd like to think the 425 level, which was like the high from prior, that was just a double top instead of just a random level. So I think there were maybe some stops at that price that made a little bit more sense, and clearly it went a little bit better. But this little dip, I'm thinking about the one that got me out here. Like when I got out of the long before, it dipped and then got a rally. I know it didn't follow through, but that's what I'm sort of looking for. So here's that 480. Let's see if it can start holding on. There is still not much of a bid. Like, see, like, I don't know if you can quickly see, but like the second somebody shows up for size, like puts 10, 20 on there, they were smacking it to the downside, and there's still massive offers. So I'm not really seeing anything that makes me love the tape. Like, they take this guy out for 100,000 shares, or no, they just get bigger and they sell right through. And anytime someone throws some size in there, there's 20,000, they put more and they get filled. Like, that's crazy. Like, second someone shows up on the bid for size, they get smoked. The second someone shows up on the offer, it ticks down. So if I see that pattern reversing, that's what I'm looking for to try to get in. Meanwhile, Palantir is slowly sliding away from 159. I have a $0.50 bid on Palantir. You know what? I'm not in Opendoor. So I know a lot of people are interested in Opendoor. Palantir consolidates underneath the volume weighted average price under 159. Now it's starting to break down a little bit here on PLTR. If it's just stair steps for the rest of the afternoon, then I want to take the stairs down. Stairs down can be fun. It's a lot easier.
Yep.
You know, as you get older, you don't have to worry.
Much faster.
It's not, well, you don't want it to be faster. It's just nice and easy on the stairs. You don't want all those elevator accidents or escalator accidents. You know, people running around on the escalators and all that nonsense.
I like
you know what I can't stand?
What?
It's like, you know when randomly people, when there's other people on the escalator that will just decide that they want to like run up and down for fun. It's like run up the down escalator.
It's
people,
rare,
other
but
people
it does
are on
happen.
it does. You better believe it happens. I'm just saying. Like, just wait till there's nobody on it. Seriously. Everyone's done it. And I'm not saying it's not fun. I'm not saying I never did it when I was
younger. Well, the opposite way, I've definitely done.
But you just wait till there's
the
not anybody
escalator
on
down
it.
and I try to run up it. And
why you gotta do it when there's other people there?
You do it with your friends and be like, who's gonna do this the fastest? Maybe you're out for
no one
lunch,
was beating me at that.
During high school, or maybe you have a spare and you're just chilling and you're at the mall that's nearby the high school, you know, getting really detailed with it.
It's just one of those things.
But that $5, a little bit of a false break there. And oh boy, Google's coming right back into the downside. The market's also curling over as of right now. So a little bit of confluence there. And how much size was there at that $5 level, Neil?
A couple.
How many lots? At least 10. And this is the meme that I was talking about.
It was a couple million total.
So SpongeBob and Patrick walk into the mattress store, and there's the mattresses. He goes, well, Patrick, look at all these mattresses. How many do you think there are? With full confidence, without any hesitation. 10. Cool?
I like it.
So how many lots were there at that $5 mark?
A few.
A few.
There were a few.
Oh, boy.
And come on, Darwin.
Supply.
Darwin in the chat's like, that's a good way to injure your Achilles. You just had to. You had to go there. I'm like 90-something%. I'm running. I can kind of jump. You got to throw it out there. I'm definitely not running up escalators. Stuff like that would just be stupid. That would be incredibly dumb at my age, coming off that injury. Could you even imagine if I did something that dumb? It gets one thing if I'm actually doing something reasonable and got hurt again. But like, for the love of God, if I was running up, oh yeah, no, I'm not going out. I ain't going out like that. Not running up an escalator. But I'll tell you right now, like this market, this might be the slowest bleed I have ever seen in the Nasdaq. It's just like, it is going down. It's just not going down very fast.
It's not doing it very.
No, like
so
even
it's taking the stairs down. It's not even an escalator. It's taking the stairs.
This isn't the stairs.
Like,
this
look,
is
just boom, boom, boom. Look at that every 15-minute candle.
It's like a slow ramp.
Yeah, just
down.
boom.
Like one of those, you know, like the long ramps at a stadium. That's what it is. Like one of those joints. Although I love to run up and down those too.
There's those really, really slow moving carpets at the airport. Like, why are those so slow?
Why are those always busted at Pearson?
So slow.
Honestly, I tell you, every single.
Yeah, I guess no.
Every single time, I need. Like, we're kind of in a rush at the airport. I swear, those stupid walking escalators, they're always broken when you don't need them to be. It's so ridiculous. Pearson. Anyways, hopping on Canada. Pearson is literally one of the most expensive places for airlines to land in.
Yep.
Which is why we get frustrated when things don't work.
I really like Porter.
You pay so
Have you
much.
taken Porter before?
Yeah, I've done.
It's so smooth.
Yeah, my brother. When my brother visits from Halifax, he always does Porter.
It's so much smoother. I'm sure the airport's much smaller, but it's more intimate. The security is it's fast. It's just as good as Pearson, I'd say. But it's fast because not a lot of people, there's not that much volume pushing through.
Well, because they don't fly as all the same.
They don't fly as much, but yeah, no, I think they do have constant flights, you know, all over Canada.
Yes,
to
Pearson
Miami,
is Toronto, by the way.
to New York.
We're in Toronto.
So I think, you know, all the places you kind of want to go.
It's Canada, baby. You pay more, you get less. Opendoor. Oh, literally, that's kind of the way. Opendoor looks like it's trying to catch a bit of a bid here. Do we leave the door open for the long? Maybe it has. All right, open. Let's see if we can't get it going. It finally caught a bid at 480, and now you can't get 480. All right, I'm going to leave the bid in there. I'm bidding down at like 83. I'm not going to chase. I'm just going to try and get picked up. If we have 30 minutes to the imbalances, then we have plenty of time for this to retake, or at least attempt to retake that. Now, keep in mind, there's a bit of a breakdown here. Ooh, new bar, cancel. Let's wait to see how far it wants to drop. Remember, this is a bit of a fail here at the $5 level. Let's be real. So this could easily lower high and then dump on us, but as long as we can hold on to the 480 range, I'll keep going for the long. Definitely. The Jameson says, please take a look at PD. Do you mean Pinduo, or do you mean PagerDuty? Because, and I'm only asking that because literally no one's ever asked about PagerDuty before, but plenty of people ask about PDD. So candidly, I have never looked at this stock. Well, I couldn't say never. I actually knew I knew the name of the company when you said it, so I can't say never, but I can't remember the last time. And what I always say when I look at something like this is, if a stock respects the 200-period moving average, then so do I. And if a stock respects the 200-period moving average and is under the 200-period moving average, then I don't like it. That said, hey, nice little bottom being made here. I suppose this could have a little something going for a trend break, I guess. I'm not really sure what else I can say. But yeah, it might be making a bit of a bottom. You're holding the 50 to potentially break out the 200 period. There's so many questions about these bottoming stocks, like the kind of overwhelming trend down names looking to catch a bit of a bid. But I don't know, I kind of thought maybe you'd be asking about Pinduo, which is in the midst of a breakout. Forget about like it might break out. This is breaking out as we speak.
Dude, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Higher
PDD is
breakout,
more interesting.
Back-to-back levels that it can break out, and there's enough space in between, and it's stepping up, and it has the base. It's trending, breaking out with volume as well.
Yes.
It's got everything you could potentially ask for. I'm gonna get out of that right there. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't really see anything that's too crazy right now. There's scalps that are working. That $5 push, maybe false break, was pretty nice on the open, but we're pulling back in. 482s on open. Maybe let's see if we get a little bit of a sell-off into the close, or do we just hold levels on low volume and continue to push? We did push into that prior high. I don't know how many fresh shorts we're going to get in off of this level, Neil, but so far it's working nice. Let's see if the market takes a little bit of a bid up as well. TSM looking good. Let's look at some of the chips. SMCI looking good. ARM down at its VWAP, but still holding up all of its gains on the day. Intel taking a little bit of a pullback, and I didn't really like it that much, so I definitely got out, I guess, a little aggressively on that one there. I got out of Google maybe 50 pennies too early. Let's take a quick look at Intel here. I'm going to leave the open tape open in the bottom right there. But yeah, this was my I guess scalp on Intel. I liked it for the push, and it started to get weaker. I'm just piecing off. Don't really like it here. Maybe we do bounce. Maybe we reclaim that 25. I just going into the last, I guess, half hour of the day. I'm just like, all right, well, if this holds, if this doesn't hold, I don't really care right now. I'm not really seeing anything really like. Strong reason to sell, maybe. I didn't like that we got back below 25. That's just simple for me. Palantir, oh boy, that reversion is coming in really nicely as well, Neil. Let's take a look at that on Palantir. Yeah, right there. So
it's trying.
162 breakdown, nice little push on 158 down, all the way back down to 158.
162. Well, the problem is 150. You know what 158 is though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 158 is the prior day high.
You took those shorts there?
Well,
Yeah.
this one.
Down there, yeah. The
Not
structure's
that
been
one.
stepping down. It's breaking and stepping down.
Not that one.
Yeah.
Not that one. Not that one. Not that one went long. But that one. We'll get there.
Underneath the VWAP, I like.
Better than never.
Here's the thing, a lot of
But
people.
150, just before that, 158 though, this is the prior day high. If it bounces off that at power hour, like, you know, it's 330 almost. So that's just one I get out of. And ooh, for the first time today, bullish gets over VWAP. So the market pulls back a little bit, and bullish for the first time, like all afternoon, starting at 12:30, it was a short at 69, down to 68.2, 68.2, 68.2, 68.2. It finally broke. So I guess this is going bullish again. I just jumped out because, like I told you, I was shorting at that level and getting out if it breaks there. But if we hold this 158, this is a pretty key price here on Palantir. Let's go to the desk, Adara.
I just want to let you guys know we've already posted our weekly infographic here for these earnings and events for August 25th to August 29th. So next week, in addition to Monday's calendar. Now, I think Wednesday and Thursday by far the biggest days here. And Wednesday, after the close, you have Nvidia, Snowflake, CrowdStrike, and HPQ, amongst others, all reporting earnings. Then Thursday, we've got a pretty stacked deck before and after the bell when it comes to earnings. We'll also get GDP growth rate. And then on Friday, in addition to Alibaba earnings before the bell, we've got PCE and the closely watched University of Michigan consumer confidence. This should be a wild week. Make sure to check out this infographic on X at TTV Research. Back to you.
I gotta thank you very much there, Darren. Wednesday and Thursday are big. Obviously, Wednesday is a Super Bowl of earnings with Nvidia. But Obi, I got $1 says we do not get an ETH all-time high by 4 o'clock.
Really?
I think if we break the all-time high, we break it in the aftermarket or we break it on the weekend. Hold
See
on
how
a
it's
second.
setting up. I want to see how it's set. Maybe we close strong on the day.
All I have is
The high a day currently, Neil, is $4,849.
I don't even have a loon. Whatever changes in here, bet. We're doing it on the weekend
right.
or the aftermarket.
No, definitely aftermarket for sure. Very high probability aftermarket. But if we're going to do it in the next 30 minutes, yeah, sure. ETH can slap up, $100.
We're $50
It's
away.
done it before.
50
If
bucks.
this high breaks, let's say if this 850 breaks, you know what the prior high is, Neil? Let's go to the weekly. Check that out. Prior high is 4,867.
I thought it was 66. Oh, I guess 67.
I got
What source is
67.80s. This is on Coinbase.
Coinbase, okay. 67.
67 on Coinbase. So can we push another $50, give or take a couple, by the end of the trading session? Sure, well within range. Is it going to happen? I have no idea. Is the week going to close in strong? I have no idea. But I think it's well within range. I think if we continue to push up, that if that 50 breaks before 4 o'clock, boom.
Yes.
I definitely think those all-time highs are coming into play. I could very well be wrong. Look at that, 822. So we're creeping up. Now we're $40.
Now we're going to get. You could have had all my change right there if you made the bet, apparently.
$40.
But you didn't because you didn't want to take the bet.
I'm saying yes.
Oh, you are saying yes?
Yeah.
I don't even. It's probably.
What am I betting? I got the only change on the desk. You know, I forgot my wallet.
First of all,
at home today,
that's Sean's
too.
change on the
That's
desk.
Sean's
I keep
change.
mine
I was
in
just
the
gonna
box.
say, there's just Sean's change
literally,
here.
he has
I got
his own desk.
I got a
I have my
peach.
poppies.
Is it a peach or an apricot? I think it's an
peach.
apricot.
I think it's a peach. I don't know. I actually don't know the difference.
Peaches might be a little.
I said this morning I could eat a peach for hours. I know what you're going with that. But what was I going to say? Oh, so Kendo in the chat asked where we get the imbalance data from. Thank you.
Bull needed some fixing.
So the imbalance data that we get and show you guys is built right into the P8 platform that we trade on here at Real Trading. That being said, if you are getting level 2 data from your broker, they're getting it's called the SIP feed, and if you have that, then in theory your broker has this data. Whether or not they built something to display it for you and then you can pay for it, I have no idea. But I can tell you that's how we get it. You can also get this via eSignal. I know for sure that they have it, and I'm sure multiple brokers have this for sure. The early look while we're here, you got Walmart for a small sell. I mean, $1 million, I guess, is a small sell for Walmart, and Enbridge is there all the time. That doesn't really matter. At 350, you'll see some real numbers here. Why is Foot Locker a sell? That's not closing, is it? Foot Locker is being bought. Usually you'll have big sell imbalances sometimes when a deal is closing and the stock is being deleted, but I don't think Foot Locker is close to closing. Maybe I'll keep an eye on that one just in case it is. But no big early look imbalances just yet. I did mention if I see them hold the 158 and at this time of day I'd bounce out. It did bounce off 158, went up to 158.5 and is now right back into 158. So Palantir might take out this support for sure, looking very, very weak. It was a short all, it's so weird to have a stock go up $10 from the low and like every winning trade I had in it was a short. It's stupid really, but sometimes it's just how the day goes. So it is what it is. And as far as Opendoor goes, I just wasn't a huge fan of what I saw at 480. Like it's holding 480, but it's also not doing anything. The volume's not there. Like there's still just all kinds of sellers when it gets into the high 480s. So you could be scalping like 10 cents or so if you really wanted to in here off the 480 level. But there is so many sellers relative to the buyers at this price that I'm just not liking it. Therefore open. And overall, all we've done in this afternoon is slide off a little bit. So if you could find yourself into a short, great. I want to note that the Intel news is exactly what we expected. They said 10%, it's going to be 10%. Its hold at 25 was a fail break, and then that's been some gravity to 25. It's Friday, so the fact that we're just now all of a sudden barcoding at the 25 level, I guess makes a little bit of sense as a random price. And Notorious Dinkelberg. If there's one stock that just said, I don't care that we're getting a 25% basic, I don't care if Powell has seen the light when it comes to rates. I don't care if everything is going up. It's Circle.
Yep.
Circle, I don't know what to say, but
Circle.
Let's put it this way. I'm going to say it's the nicest way possible.
Yep.
This is a stock that is trying to figure out where it should be priced. And while doing so, it's lower.
I think they call that price discovery.
They call it price discovery, but in this particular case, they're discovering it's not worth what we think it is. And unfortunately, it just continues to trend down. This one's ugly.
Yes.
I think you start your day off on Monday morning, sit down, and I'm going to log into the platform, and then I'm going to go pay for locates on Circle. Dara, did you really short this one today? I know I didn't.
Not well, I'll say that. I mean, I'm down to talk more on the market recap, but yeah, I mean, I think today was a great day for discovery, but it was not a good day for me for price discovery. I'm just going to be real upfront about it. I did attempt to short Circle. I traded it according to my plan. My plan was ill-conceived, and I traded it way before that. I'll just say that. I'll say that.
It happens. I'll tell you this much. At least you were trying to short the best stock to short today. No, but it's clear.
By far,
but this is the thing.
One of the best reversions.
Look at this. Look at this chart. Now ask yourself, if you come in with the approach of this is a short till it's not, and you try shorting on it, are you going to be mad that you don't make money a day shorting it? Okay, fine. Are you going to make money every single day? But if your approach is, I'm going to try to find shorts as a day trader on this stock, which has literally been trending down since, what day is this? July 18th. I had to look at it. I don't have an eidetic memory like Adara. She probably can tell you the price level, exactly what was happening when it got through 250 and the time of day and all that stuff. I can't. But no, seriously, you can do worse than that. And when a stock is upward trending, same thing. Like I'm sure there's lots of people that just approach every single day like, how do I get long new? Hopefully this is going up. Oh, of course it's not. Like when I pull up neg to try to demonstrate the uptrend, that's the day it's down 12%. Well, just imagine I pull up a stock that was uptrending and didn't wick the high. When this catches the other end of the V.
Have you ever used Newegg?
No, never.
No?
Never.
It's good. I like
it?
that.
Okay.
Usually have pretty good deals, and delivery is pretty good.
We've got breaking news with Adara.
Get one stock here moving distinctly differently from Circle is Rivian, RIVN. This just broke into new day's highs. Inside EV reporting that apparently Rivian is saying that their hands-off point-to-point driving is coming late 2026. So Rivian reportedly teasing autonomous driving, I guess, just over a year from now. Back to you.
Get it, Adara. Get it, Randy. Rivian Randy will be happy to hear about that, although I have a funny feeling that Rivian Randy, who has been waiting for a 10 in front of the number to always buy Rivian, might have gotten, I don't know, maybe he got too picky because it bounced at $11.01, it looks like. Sometimes you're splitting hairs when you do it that way. Like imagine remember when we said Webull, buy Webull in front of $10? Yep. Like if you waited for it to actually get to like $10 and you're like, I'm just gonna bid 10.01, well then you're not in the stock. Like sometimes it's just it's a ballpark when you're looking at it. Like look at Webull here. That's better. Like look at this. Like if you're waiting for exactly 10, maybe you get it, maybe you don't. 10.17 is pretty close, but you know, as long as you're willing to get in here somewhere, I don't know. If you're buying in front of 10, there isn't an excuse to be into this thing. I can maybe see the argument that Rivian, you would have liked it a little bit lower, but this is, and remember, we're getting the rate cut. That's big for Rivian too. They lose a lot of money. It means they need a lot of money. If rates going down, good for Rivian. And good news with autonomy, up 7.5%. Like this is one that can go on a jaunt. Every single time that this is bounced off of this area, it's at least giving you 15. And you know we're at $13 now, so I think that's one thing that can be looked at. Palantir is apparently crashing, so I guess 158 can't hold. And 158 absolutely did not hold as it continues to head to the downside. Palantir, and I guess on a day where the market stayed strong, Palantir, it doesn't have it. It could be a valuation thing. Don't know. But this is sort of you saw what happened in Circle. But I just want to keep one thing in maybe a little bit of perspective with Palantir. And I'm not sitting here trying to be like super Palantir bull or anything. But when we had that reversal candle a couple of days ago, it held trend, and then we held trend the next day, and we're still going to close above the trend line in the 50 period. Technically, you have a reversal candle hammer, and then you're consolidating at support on Palantir. Even with this pullback in the afternoon, it's still not completely bearish here. But if it loses 153 on Monday, or maybe that's like 52.5 maybe, if we lose that on Monday, then you could see something crazy. And we've seen this before on Palantir. Like I always said to people, like pull out a longer time frame chart, and that'll give you a better imagination as to what can happen. It doesn't always go up. Palantir went 120 to $60. It got cut in half. We just saw that happen. Well, I'm not talking about last year. I'm talking about this year. Palantir was cut in half this year and then went 3x. So to cut in half is here. The 50 period on the weekly is at $97. There's no pullback on Palantir that is nonsensical as far as I'm concerned. So when if you stink bid this stock, just keep that in mind. And if you play some kind of like a trend breakdown, keep that in mind. Like it could easily, without breaking a sweat. Now I tend to think the 120 to 130 range, the prior high, makes more sense, but that's just me here today. We got a super chat again. Skeebs. Skeebs with the super chat. AGL ran again today. This is another small capper. You mentioned it yesterday. It's up 8%. Volume's only good, not great. Probably, I don't know if this probably wouldn't even be on Sharice's radar, but you sent a super chat, so why not? We'll get off my e-signal chart for a quick little second. Yeah, this is like one of those capitulation bottoms. This is a good setup, by the way. Like, here's the funny thing. I've said this to you before, too. Yes. Like, I used to trade, when I started as a day trader, I traded penny stocks. All my first checks came from penny stocks. Right? I have no shame about that. You make money where you make money as a trader. I don't care. It's a hard enough business. Don't let anybody tell you that this is not real trading, which I heard a lot of, and I didn't give a rat's you-know-what. But when you look at some of these reversion plays, so many people I know were looking at, remember UNH in that bottom? Yep. Capitulation bottom, and they want to take the next day. Like, there's so many places where you can find that same setup, sometimes in small caps. I have no idea who these guys are or what they do. But that's a capitulation bottom, and look at it hold the low, and then see this day right here, red, 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 indecision day. There's your green day. There's your open above the prior close, breaking $1. I don't care how you play. You could take the dollar break here. You could take this break here at like 85 cents. Your out is this low at 80 cents. That is 10% plus slippage worth of risk to get what? Now it's already gone 50%. To get to the 50 period is a double up. and I'm not saying go out there and run and buy penny stocks and all that kind of nonsense, but I literally, when I started day trading, like something like that would happen, and then every single day I would just be long the stock as a day trader. That's just what it was literally what it, and it's like a mean reversion trade, and then you're just playing higher lows, and like the idea would be that as it's on trend, like I'd find a support level and you buy into some support and it would break the trend, and maybe you also take the breakout trade here and you just be doing it all day long, and I'd just try to be long it every single day off a support level or a breakout, and that was the game. So, and you can do this all over the place. Like it's maybe not a lot of volume today, but certainly had better volume back in here when it was under that dollar level. Anyways, I'm just saying there's lots of ways that you can make money. The market is really starting to come back in here, Obi, as we got 10 minutes till the imbalances come. And yeah, the SPY just lost a bit in a big way. Not Opendoor though.
No, I'm kind of, I was short on Google. I was like, this is a great reversion. Let me participate. I know I don't have the best prices. And I kind of let that get, I think, to my head, because I was just like, because you don't have the best prices, maybe you need to be a little bit more quick and nimble. Nimble didn't really work out well on the cover, and I covered it in 206 halves. But the thing is, the trade is potentially reversion back into prior structure, reversion back to VWAP, and maybe back into some of these reference prices where we did break out from earlier, and we're coming right back into some of those just on top of 205. 205 and some change here is VWAP. I got 205.34s on my other chart. I'm watching that. We're only about 10 pennies away. And here on the P8, we're at 205.20s. For the VWAP, so roughly the similar area. We kind of talked about this market curling over, kind of bleeding out, stair-stepping down, and then finally going into the last half hour, we start to accelerate, we start to puke, we start to push back down into the lower end of the range. Again, range highs being all the way up here, range lows, you can see after that aggressive bid, we pull back, we bid up, we pull back, we bid up, we pull up, we sell off, we pull up, we sell off. So it's like just a bit of a range here happening. So when we get to the top of the range, we start to slowly roll over. I like maybe the shorts a little bit better, but let's see how aggressive of a reversion we may have of the reversion on top of VWAP here on Google. I don't know if it's going to come in, but we're pulling back into that 23,500 area on the Nasdaq. And yeah, I'm just curious to know whether or not buyer step in, or are we going to sell going into the close here? Aggressive bid on Jackson Hole today, and we've held those highs pretty well across the board, Neil. So yeah, I think we're holding up pretty well. Bigger picture, does this become another pivot point for us to push some fresh highs? We saw Google already push their fresh highs, and over the past couple of months, we've been like, oh, Google's lagging behind, Google's lagging behind, Google's lagging behind. It's coming in for that V shape. Those all-time highs are coming in, and everything else is at all-time highs.
And it keeps.
Today was the day that Google met its all-time highs.
But ETH does not look like it's going to make it. There's only 17 minutes left to go.
Come on, ETH.
And then I get to take whatever change you decide to give me. I should have bet an apple fritter. That's actually was a bad decision.
I told you, I got the
on
apricot.
my point. Oh, you bet me the piece of fruit?
I bet you the fruit. I said, that's all I have.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll eat it. It's
yeah.
But I can, like, there's like a bunch, there's literally a bunch in the kitchen. I can just go walk and get one myself.
But this one's mine, though.
That is true, and it is more satisfying that way. What was I going to say? No, ETH can't seem to get to the high. As I said, the market's dropping off, but not everything is falling. You're not even budging here in ETH. Bitcoin has pulled back. Opendoor literally does not care. It just does not even care. That's the power of small cap stocks. Like when you trade them, you actually get to be a little bit blind to what's happening in the market, which for some traders, that's probably exactly what you want. I know that was the appeal sometimes to be trading them, is you didn't have to get caught up in a lot of the macro stuff. Okay, fine, to a certain extent, don't ignore the fact that some of the pump here is going to have to do with rates coming down, and obviously Jackson Hole gave you everything that you wanted if you were a rate-sensitive stock. They were looking for cuts. Same deal happening at 5. Maybe not as violent, but it's slowing down. Like there's a lot churning through at this $5 level. Yeah. And I get it. It's one thing to say, pull back into the prior high. You still have to take it. I talked myself out of it, and that is what it is. Now it's breaking through $5. And with only 5 minutes to go to the imbalances, unless I see something pop up out of nowhere, NEO's a sell of 1 million shares. NEO's probably done way too much volume for that to matter. That's just a guess here. Opendoor doesn't even have an imbalance. You never know. There could be one on Opendoor. NEO, 213 million in volume for NEO. Yeah, that imbalance is doing nothing to that. It should do nothing to that stock if it's done 213. That's absolutely crazy how much volume is there. Walmart, 1 million to the sell side. But in 5 minutes, we'll get an update and see how those look. Palantir is catching a bit of a bid here. I see some people asking about Tesla in the chat. That's always a popular one. But even this latest move down is starting to slow down very quickly. Tesla barely budged.
Yeah, we gotta.
All these stocks are so strong. There's
Open
so
is back above $5.
That's a beast.
Yeah, Open is back above $5. That's holding.
Shorts are so
high days
screwed.
08s. We're trading at those right now here. So let me just pull up the chart. Maybe we can take Intel off the board here. Oh boy, look at that. $5 holding pretty well on Opendoor as we push a little bit higher. So there was a lot of size sitting at that $5 mark, and we churned through it, pulled back a little bit. Not really that aggressive of a pullback, but a pullback pretty decent, all the way back down to 480s, maybe testing some 470s as well on that quick flush down. Holds, pushes right back up. So yeah, I did like the short there, but I was being a little bit more patient for that to potentially come in.
Which?
$5 still holding.
Open.
No, on Open. Again, we had free shorts there. So that's what I was kind of looking at. And it not really showing any strong significance of a sell here. But maybe the imbalances could potentially change that, right? Only about a few more minutes there until they come out. 4 more minutes here. Catching a little bit of a bid here on the goggle, just scalping out. Nothing too crazy, nothing aggressive. We're coming into those imbalances as well, Neil. So I do want to be wary of some of that action. The market did pull back. We did kind of roll over, pull back in, and caught a bit of a bid into the open of this last 15-minute candle here on the day, Neil. So nothing too crazy. I'm not seeing much else. Let me know in the chat what you guys are trading going into the close. Are you guys looking at anything? Are you guys sitting at any positions? I know a lot of people have been trading crypto on the day today. ETH with a crazy move as well. Alongside the market, again, we talked about that Jackson Hole. Google with the intraday news, all-time highs. So a lot of good stuff happening in this market. Last week or a couple of weeks ago, I was just like, oh boy, that's some aggressive action with the Google flushes. We had the turnaround on Softy as well.
$25.
$25 away?
Yeah, ETH might get there.
I mean, yeah, we're $25 away. We got 13 minutes.
You get the contents of change in that box. You don't get the poppies that are in there.
Okay.
Those are for Remembrance Day. But we got another super chat in here. I can't believe ETH is going to do it. It looked to all the world when the market rolled over what was going to happen. Patrick, I was in 205 calls in Google this morning at 51 cents, 96 contract. When the pop happened, you took a 10-cent trade, missed out on 3. You could have. You know what? We've all been there. You're out too early, and it just goes absolutely ham. Or you mistime something. But here's the thing. Always try to remember that when that kind of a trade happens, you made an excellent decision. There's something called resulting that you don't always want to get involved with when you're talking about your trades, which is overanalyzing the result. Sometimes you also have to remind yourself of the good part of the trade and know that you had it, you got it in good, and you have the right spot. There's just other things that you need to refine there. I say the same thing when everyone tells me they got a top or a bottom wick and then it went. But that just means that you were making a decision at the absolute perfect moment and the perfect price. You just might not have made the right decision. That's still part of the equation. So remember, you're just always trying to take all the parts of the trade and make sure that you get them all going. And you don't discard something when you got 1 or 2 things right and then 3 and 4 didn't go exactly as planned, and you can try to brush those up. So congratulations for a fantastic call. That's the way I would look at it. We've all been there before. Winning trade's a winning trade. And you had it right. Like Alphabet was a good long today. No question about it. So,
like both ways, to the upside, to the downside. The pop, the push, off of the open as well. The VWAP holds, the intraday news, the reversion of the intraday news, all beautiful, beautiful action here. And I think we're seeing a lot of that. It's not just Google. It's so many things that are just have clean price action, just stair-step action. We saw Opendoor happening today. We saw what Palantir did through that range break and then a hold as well. What else is going on? We saw Intel with some moves as well intraday with Trump kind of coming out and confirming the news that we already knew. So yeah, good stuff there around, I guess, to go around. Market maybe catching a little bit of a bid. Only about 10 minutes left, but about 15 seconds left, Neil, for these imbalances to come out.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Anytime you get volatility like this, oops, I got to make sure I have. Typically, it's Nvidia that comes out of nowhere with an imbalance, so I usually want to have a level 2 of that open. But yeah, here we go. And 2 million on a day with this volume, maybe not too big, but 2 million to the buy side for Nvidia. You got 1.5 for TLT, the 20-year Treasury. Walmart comes out as expected, a 1 million to the sell side there. Not very big. BAC's a million to the sell. Apple and Microsoft are decent-sized buys of 800,000 each. Those aren't huge, but like they are buy-side imbalances there. And overall, the market adds up to 1.8 billion to the buy side. The Mag 7, 770 million, and the Nasdaq overall 1.2 billion, buoyed by Nvidia. But that's not huge. I mean, you got a spike. It's a decent-sized spike. But remember, and we say this every single time, but about 355, usually these end up pairing off. So if you're not getting some kind of if it's not breaking out through highs, to me, that's not much of a trade. It's already down at 2 million. You'll see that pair off even more as we go back and revisit it. A lot of good questions.
Snap up on Nvidia on that.
It was
that
decent.
buy imbalance. Just go, like we talk about things that are ranging. Take a look at that.
It's
just
not bad.
Pops into the top of the range, and guess what? Sellers were there before. Sellers were there. Sellers were there once again. 178.50s, 178.60, 178.59 is the high of day as of right now. So yeah, interesting stuff happening there on the Nvidia. Maybe a bit of a held offer, and that could be an interesting level because it's kind of showing itself right now going forward into next week. Maybe going into I guess.
Open lost $5.
Well. Yeah, Open's. I think Open's going to churn that 5 a little bit longer there, and maybe have a move in the after hours. I think the way it's setting up, absolutely beautiful, and it's not really breaking down. Not breaking down. The volume kind of dropped. It did not break down. That's what I'm seeing there on Opendoor. So maybe it definitely has some more oomph going into next week. If we do leg consolidation, or anything of the sort, some sort of continuation through that 5, that could pose for decent continuing opportunities. And of course, it's been a great swing trade as well. I know a lot of people who've been swinging this from $2 or even less. So
you know what they call that if you've been swinging that from $2?
You're open to swinging?
A home run.
Oh, a home
Although I'm not a left-handed hitter. I could switch hit a little bit, but that's not me. 48.44 on ETH as I am we're $23 away on ETH from Obi winning some change, but more importantly, winning bragging rights, because then he can talk trash on Monday.
How far are we?
Not that far. 20. It's at $20. It could happen, but with only 7 minutes to go, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I've won this bet. So I get, for some reason, I literally get a piece of fruit from Obi because that's what he decided to put up against the change I have on the desk. Really not that appealing.
I forgot my wallet as well.
But it was. I already had one, and it's pretty delicious. But you know what?
Why not more?
I won't eat it on the aftermarket show because I want us to have a good discussion on the aftermarket show. And we'll get up there with Adara because there is so much that you learn from a day like today where the move was insane. When Powell came out and essentially hinted or directed us that a cut is coming for the first time, the cut is coming in September. The market reaction, which a lot of people would thought would be good. It's like, well, if he signals that we're getting a cut, then that'll be good, right? Well, I didn't actually think that we would be as good as we saw. It was an unbelievable rally. And you learn a lot on days like this because you get a lot of liquidity replenishment points, and you get stocks which trend in the opposite direction from the market, which can give you a little bit of an idea of relative strength and weakness. Like what ETH did was insane, going almost to the all-time high. And I'm just going to go back over. With 1 minute to go, anyone that's still looking at that Nvidia, it just continues to pair off.
Yep.
Right, like this was an imbalance of 2.6, and all it's been doing is getting smaller. This is the reason why I wasn't that interested. If it could have held, if it could have got bigger, but Nvidia pulling off the highs as, oh, now it's back to 2.7, so that's weird. You don't usually see that happen on Nvidia. It just grew at 354. Usually we're going the other direction. It's weird.
All right, guys, so you've seen Trade the Pool here with us for a while now, and now Trade the Pool has created something special just for you. A free ebook featuring 4 proven swing trading strategies from Trade the Pool's top funded traders. Inside, you'll see exactly how they approach the markets, how they manage risk, and what setups they rely on. So you can learn and grow from what actually works. Download it now by scanning the QR code on screen or hitting the link in the description. Oh boy. I had to find myself there for a second.
And there goes.
Oh, look at that snap on Google. Oh boy, that low, that VWAP hold was quite nice. We're getting some snap, crackle, and popping to the upside here on Google on that VWAP hold. So absolutely beautiful stuff. Going into the close, only about 5 minutes left. So I was already sitting on 206s. I was sitting in the 90s. I guess I'm sitting here in the 10s as well. That got taken out. And the last little bit of breadcrumb. Let's see if we catch a little bit of a bid through that 206 mark. We did get aggressively sold off. I got straight FOMO from not having this earlier. I did have it here, and then more FOMO from getting out too early. But it's like, all right, you know what? That happens. I don't care. Where's the next trade? Got to be patient. Got to be patient.
Exactly.
Be patient. There's the turn. 205 halves plus VWAP plus prior kind of high consolidation, high day break hold as well. A little bit of a 3-factor confluence on that. Market turning as well. I like that. It happens to work out even through the imbalances. A little bit lucky. I like that. Where's the next trade? That's what I'm looking for here. But with only about 4 minutes left, Neil.
It's not going to get there.
I don't think there is a next trade.
I don't think there is either, but I also know that ETH is not making an all-time high. Still $20 away. We're topping out. By the way, would actually have to break this high on ETHA to get there. Oh, stop saying it's not going to happen, Neil. And we're just pressing. All it has to do is go another like $19. $48.67.
$10.
Not going to happen.
So here's the break. Here's the high break. Here's the high break. So this should technically continue through that 49. Let's see. We're only $3 away. We can zoom into a 1 minute as well if we want to really get granular with some of this price action.
Ooh, granular.
Right there. That's definitely not, come on, that's not a word of it.
Yes, it is the word of the day.
Gotta have at least 5 syllables.
First of all, the rareness of how many syllables a word has nothing to do with how rare it is for someone to say.
There's a word.
No one has ever said granular on this program before.
I'm sure
That's why it gets the word of the day. Nobody has said granular. Trust me. I'm on the short page. Nobody said granular. You guys know nobody said.
Have been.
No one said granular.
Granularity.
That's a school word. That's another school word right there.
What do you
and
mean?
School is out. It's a summer. You're not allowed to.
These words are in books, Neil.
Denied. I love books. Books are good. Market's breaking out to highs. Wow, Tesla just went crazy. ETH, don't do it. Tesla just went crazy to 346%. I got to jump to the desk in a minute. No, I don't use that word. Do I really say it all the time? I don't think I do. It's possible. I'm getting old. I can't remember that stuff. I got to get to death. We have 2 minutes to go. Join me in the Market Recap Show with Adara.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll answer all your questions. We'll talk a lot about the market and stocks and Tesla and maybe an all-time high for ETH. Thank you for filling in for Sean, Obi.
Thank you very much for having me.
Have a good one, and
thanks again.
Take him to the bridge.
All right, so guys, what a crazy, crazy day. So Google's holding up nice. I'm out of there. That's perfectly fine. 206s. I was just looking for a quick little reversion. Got about 50 pennies going into the close, and that's more than enough for me to end the week off. Intel was nice. Let's go through some of the trades that I have that I had on the day today. Okay. Got a little bit back to green on the day there. Google was a little bit of a trouble for me coming in off of the open there. I got pretty aggressive with this one. Pretty aggressive and yeah, a little too many tries. So it was definitely a little red on it. I tried the long initially. This is a 3-minute chart. I like the short, boom, boom, boom. Take that short in, try it again, get stop out, try it again, get stop out, try it again, get stop out, get stop out, get stop out, get stopped out, get stopped out. I actually took some decent size on this one. This one I really, really liked, and that's the one that actually ended up going, but I covered over 90% of that for about 20, 30 pennies and then went for a walk, came back to the news, and oh boy, I had the stop in. Of course I had the stop in. That came in quite nicely as well as we pushed up, broke out, was not involved in any of the long or the short. That's definitely my fault. I was not ready for this, and that's a bit of lack of process on my part. I am very disappointed for that. But again, where's the next trade? Getting involved with a little bit of the backside, a little bit of the reversion as well. That was the trade on Google, and then Intel as well. So Intel, I guess initially tried the short, stopped out, tried the long here, didn't get out of everything, just a little bit there, and then add more onto the breakthrough 25, and that 25 failed to follow through. We did get a beautiful reversion back down into VWAP here, but yes, we only have about 10 seconds left for the bell here. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. There it is. Thank you very much for the bell. And yeah, some size showing up on Intel. Don't forget the bell is brought to you by VinFast. That's ticker VFS on the Nasdaq. So be sure to check them out. They are making some moves across the pond. So yeah, definitely some good stuff there. Yeah, Ethereum. Oh boy, Neil. Ethereum hit a high of 4,858 clean. 4,858. What did we say that prior high was? Oh boy, 67. So $10 away. You won the apricot peach. We don't know what it is just yet. But yeah, thank you for that. Solid push there on Ethereum on the day. Tesla was quite nice as well. The market was quite nice. Papa Powell definitely came bearing gifts to the upside with some dovish sentiment there. So absolutely solid. But don't go anywhere, guys. The weekend is about to start. But the show is not over. We got Neil. We got Adara. We got the market recap. Let's see what they're up to. I'll see you guys on Monday. Take it easy. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much, Obi. Your market recap show starts right about now, brought to you by Beta Pro by GlobeX. And yeah, Ethereum did make an all-time high. And look, I wasn't hoping, I wanted to go up like everybody. I own more Bitcoin than Ethereum, but I wanted to go up. But it's always fun to be able to win an apricot from Obi that I could literally get for free in the kitchen. So, you know, those big stakes out there that we were apparently betting on that all-time high. But it doesn't really matter. What a day, Adara. Yeah. What a day. I don't know that anybody thought we would see the move that we did when Jerome came out there unexpectedly dovish. I mean, look, some people thought he'd be a little bit dovish, but unexpectedly dovish. The move was completely insane. If you're having trouble figuring out when the Fed statement came out, then pull up a chart of more or less anything, and it should tell you. And if it didn't move, if something didn't go up at 10 o'clock, that should tell you something as well. But the Russell, IWM, the overall market, Bitcoin, ETH, literally everything caught a huge jolt with the dovish tone from Jerome Powell.
Yeah, and I already updated our JPOW Jackson Hole infographic to reflect this. Like, Neil, if you look at this, and I was saying this earlier today, Powell usually moves the market by roughly 1% at the very minimum on Jackson Hole days. And look, 2023, 2024, 2025, all these updates here of roughly 1% or higher. I mean, yeah, he's ending his tenure as Fed chair on a high note when it comes to Jackson Hole performances. I will say that. Now, my strategy for Jackson Hole was I was looking at what I did last year. What I did last year was the reversion man, as Obi, to borrow an Obi term, right? Powell stopped speaking, the market plummets. So I positioned myself into a short that I already liked, that I thought if we get a reversion man, we'll drop even lower. And then the market did not do that, and then I was like, "Aw, shucks." But yeah, as I said, this was not like the best trading day for me. I had fortunately 2 back-to-back significantly red days, but I think one thing that's great is, as Greg said, started from the bottom, now we're here, right?
Yes.
So you have somewhere to grow from, and I really want to thank you for the words that you said today with regards to like the circle short, just like you're thinking at the right place, and then also just with regards to not being focused on your end product always, right? Like, I think that's really huge. So thank you for saying that. That was, sometimes you need to hear things.
It was just true. Like, the market was gangbusters, trend all day to the upside. If you can find a stock that was trend down, at least, like, if you're trying to short today, at least have been on circle or bullish or something that was trend down and looking relatively weak, because it's just so unbelievable how strong this move was. Look, it's an across-the-board move. We were talking about, Tesla finally broke away from trend. Like, this was doing absolutely nothing. Its strongest day, it's had a couple of days like this since earnings, but you're going to go 6% up on Tesla. Like, look at the candle. Look at the fall through, right through the highs of the day. And this is a company that had bad earnings. We're coming off bad earnings, and all it's been doing is going completely sideways, and today it goes a little bit gangbusters. Really, the things that you had to be concerned about if you're looking in the other direction, just go to some defensive type names. And, they were weak, like a Pepsi. Like Pepsi wouldn't do much for you today. Procter & Gamble wouldn't do much for you today. UNH wouldn't have done much for you today. But certainly if you're talking about tech, it was a rip your face off. And there's old boy. There's Obi. Oh, there's a name to forget about. I see you in the chat, Mr. David Mantilla. We don't have any earnings, but we can always check to see how our friend Open is doing in the aftermarket. This stock, look, this is a triple whammy, right? Boost to the housing market, of course, when rates come down. That's one. 25% short float. That's two. Just a couple of days ago with Opendoor, we get to 13F that Tudor's involved and took a stake. That's three. So triple whammy. It took out the $5 level on the daily. Like, this has been absolute nuts. We've been talking about this one for a while, and I'm not sitting here telling you YOLO this stock. I'm not sitting here saying that it's going to go up forever. But when it goes trending, you want to play it with the trend. Ultimately, a lot has to be proven here at the $5 level for Open. But like everything else, it was super strong, but did not really pull back off of those highs. Like Palantir pulled back a lot. A lot of names pull back quite heavily in the afternoon, or decently in the afternoon. This small capper wasn't one of them, although, you know what? You can't even call it a small capper anymore, because it's well over the $2 billion market cap. I think it was over $2 billion when it broke $4. Maybe it was like 3.5. So it's over $2 billion. It's not even a small cap name, this Opendoor. But it's been a wild day. It was an incredible move. We saw some of the fintech names were amazing. I'm a little. This is where it was mixed, actually, because Robinhood started strong and then fell off. SoFi started strong and held, but then you had things like Circle and Bullish that just did not participate in the move, and that's what's interesting to me. And these names have solidified, I think, on a day like today, where they stand. Like SoFi is primed to break out next week. Now, anything can happen over the weekend. But this is now run up to that high and held. And we have a good chance of opening above 25. It's 7% today. 7% for SoFi. This is after it sold off at $25 twice since earnings. So that's another one worth watching. But the other thing that happened, which we should get into, is with Intel. We actually got the news that we expected. Now it's official. Is it 9.99 or 9.9, they said, instead of 10?
I thought it was around 10. I think Trump said around 10. But yeah, either way, this was like chaotic. This was crazy. Trump criticized Intel's most recent management. Sorry, Pat Gelsinger. But, I'm not going to, I don't want, like I said about Pat Gelsinger, I respect that he has history with Intel. I do not want to disrespect the man, but I think his results, as you saw in the infographic today,
they stink.
Unfortunately speak for themselves. But I want to say as well here on Opendoor, if I may quickly, before we get back to Intel, this image I just think the world needs to see. So this man is Eric Jackson. Eric Jackson, I'm going to zoom in a bit. Eric Jackson is the man that really started this Intel pump. Oh, I'm zooming on the wrong chart. So Eric Jackson, this dude, he, I guess, has been deciding that the new way to pump Intel after he initially started this pump is to stand outside Drake's house until he buys at least one share of Opendoor. He's been doing this for the past 3 days, and I am not joking. So, I think Opendoor might not be a small cap, as you said, but I think we still have to remember this is very memey, and we're getting some unique tactics. I don't know what to say here, but yeah, pretty wild stuff here on Opendoor. And again, this man is the one who started the move.
That's awesome.
He is one of the individuals that basically was calling for the ouster of former CEO Carrie Wheeler because she didn't do enough CNBC or Bloomberg interviews. And I'm also being very serious, right? So I think it's important just to step back and remember what is moving this stock. I mean, I think there are real catalysts, and I know a lot of people in the chat say this. I do not want to dispute the fact that Opendoor, with regards to their actual business, could have some nice, push to the upside with regards to, especially if we get the rate cut. But it is important to remember outside of their business, like this nonsense is happening. And I just think we have to remember that. But yeah, I mean, with regards to Intel, I think we're going to have to see how the market reacts. Right now, they like this, but I want to know, like, I think it's good that government apparently will not be taking like a board or any kind of governance within the company.
Because that would be a concern. That'd be troubling, I think.
But other than that, we'll see what happens.
I think that would be troubling, and no one wants to see, like, again, if you're into free markets, I think that would be a bit too much. But that's cool by Eric Jackson. There's no question. That's very cool. He might want to do it. He might want to hold that sign somewhere else, because a little bit of research has shown me, and Eric, maybe you want to take a look at this too, that Drake's on tour, and right now, Denmark, and then going to be in Italy next week. So yeah, you're standing outside. I get it. It's a fun stunt, but I'm sure you got enough money to go fly to Europe and do it. If you did it at the show, that'd be a heck of a lot cooler. I'm just going to throw it out there. You hold that sign up at a Drake show, and that'd be much better. Maybe he would buy a share of Opendoor. Hopefully some people bought some shares of Open and made a little bit of coinage. As, by the way, ETH is continuing not to make those highs.
We're talking about Oscar Health.
Oscar is making... I don't see any news either. I tried to find it, but you know what? We should go for the Twitter machine to see if maybe there's something going on there. But sometimes it could just be, this was already squeezing, and today was the kind of day that if you've had a troubled valuation, if you've been a breakout stock, if you have a questionable multiple, this was a day to rally. Oh. And so if you fall into that category, then you are rallying. Now, I don't know. I have not seen any news that would cause the spike that happened.
There is some
literally
news
after,
that I have to
but
read
this
through
is
it before I comment on it.
Okay, so it looks like we do have some news here with regard to the whole Affordable Care Act.
What it is. I'll just read
you got it?
because I have enough where I'm confident saying it now.
Gotcha.
So Oscar popping here, and this came out, I think earlier today, though, so it didn't come out post-market, but I think it's being circulated now, at least within the meme side of OSCR on X. But apparently the U.S. judge has paused changes made to the Affordable Care Act marketplace. So this is a preliminary injunction that would halt the Trump administration from making changes to the ACA's insurance marketplace. This is just days before the changes set into effect as well. So I guess the argument here that the judge sided with was the idea that plaintiffs could, or I guess plaintiffs were arguing that more than 2.2 million people could lose healthcare coverage due to these changes. So I guess this ruling benefits OSCR. I think the timing too, of course, this coming into effect right before the changes would have happened. Nice look.
No, it certainly is.
If I see more, I'll let you know. But UNH, ELV, CVS, MOH, CI, and CNC are also being tagged here as potential beneficiaries of that news.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, Oscar's got a little bit more juice in terms of the way it runs. Like, you had small spikes, it looks like, in UNH, but really you're going to see Oscar move a heck of a lot more than those names. That's just how it's going to be. Look, it was it's been an unbelievable day, but it's almost, one of the things that's crazy is almost all day long, almost forgot that Walmart had disappointed us with earnings yesterday.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Like, it's one of those, it's almost like it's out of your mind, and Walmart spent the whole day selling off today. Like, it's wild. Like, Walmart, their guidance didn't come out as well as expected. Everything was exuberant. So you might think, okay, catches a little bit of a bid, but not Walmart, unfortunately. It wasn't like, I don't think it was that bad of a report, but they did not like the guidance came under midpoint there. And wow, it didn't just trade down. If you look at when everything started to catch the bid at 10 o'clock, it tried to go and just failed. When it failed back underneath that, I guess that Jackson Hole support, that was it. And this is one of the things that you can learn from a day like today. Anything that retested the bottom at 10 o'clock when the market ripped, you had to know that's a big level. Now, obviously, I wasn't looking at, I don't even know why I would be looking at Walmart today outside of the fact it was day two. But wow, if they didn't like it then, and then you lose the support that the entire market got, look at how clear the trend is, even when it tried to revisit that price. Walmart could be in a little bit of trouble here. Oftentimes, you want to play that old 3-day rule to see if it finds a place where it settles down. It's getting close to that 200-period moving average. I don't think it was all bad. Let's be real, but a lot of pressure here for Walmart relative to what we saw in the overall market. And it's just absolutely, it's nuts the rally we got, but it's so telling, I think, sometimes when you see things go counter trend as heavily as they do on a day like today, where it seemed like an everything rally. By the way, ETH 48.25, still no run at the all-time high. I think it happens this weekend. So let's just say sometime on Sunday, ETH will make an all-time high. I never believe that Bitcoin or ETH are making an all-time high on a Friday. It's just like, that's not how they do it in crypto.
It's usually on the weekend or it's after hours. That's the other thing. A lot of these moves happen after hours or when the market's closed. Bitcoin made that all-time high in January during inauguration, which is when the market was closed. We also had the post-election move on election night, not election day, right? So the market was closed. So yeah, I mean, there have been a couple exceptions. Generally, though, that's been the case.
Or if it's like midweek. Like if it's midweek, I can believe it. Because there was that one day, was the day that I think, the midday guys were on. Because I know Joe, look, we all had the long, but Joe was live. And it was wild because you guys saw the action, but that was in the middle of the week for sure. But I do believe we have a little bit of trader talk to get to. Steve Tileman is going to be joining us, and what a day, what a day. I'm sure he has a lot to talk about. Any trader or anyone following the markets today has got a lot to discuss. Let's bring in our good friend. It is Steve Tileman. Welcome to the program. So, Jerome is dovish and the market loves it, and every single breakout and all of the small caps and anything you could have been long was fantastic here today because everyone got what they wanted. Steve, how was your day today?
I mean, you really nailed it, Neil. It was hard to be wrong. It was a fun day in the markets. I wish they were all this good. Yeah, great follow through and a lot of great names. So great. So true.
I don't know if I'd always want it to be this way because it'd be you couldn't deal with that kind of volatility. Plus, it just wouldn't work out having this kind of volatility every single day. But so walk me through like your thought process because I know you do a lot of swing trading, right? Like we got a lot of information on a day like today. So when we see moves like we did in the IWM, maybe you're holding some small caps, is this a moment where you take a breath, take profit, look for re-entries because some trends look for extension? Like where would you be at as a swing trader? Because I know a lot of people, like some targets probably got hit today if you were long some stuff. And certainly other things look like they're starting to break out. So, but where are you with some of the trades that you've discussed before?
Absolutely. So for us, I think we've gotten a lot of clarity today. I think that we were waiting for Powell to basically do what he did, which was mostly nothing, just signal generally dovish, nothing too outside of expectations. And because of that, it seems like all lights are go for these small cap setups. So on my newsletter, I was mentioning watching rate-sensitive baskets like KRE, regional banking, as well as solar. So we're long in those sectors, and we're holding. I think that this is the start of at least another week or two long rally. And we got to kind of see what happens with the end of the month in OPEX. But for right now, it's working. So that's where we're at.
Yeah, you brought us KRE. Well, you brought us the solar and KRE last week. I know we had a good chance to talk about that. And look, the consolidation break looks fantastic on this one. What was wild, I think what was at least the most interesting to me was how the market reacted intraday to some of the pullbacks was rather aggressive. But in particular, if we're looking at KRE, this did try to dip. I don't know if you see it in the middle of the day here. This did try to dip. And it was when it retook 64 that looked super bullish, partly because, oh, looky, that's that prior high. There's room. Like this hasn't even made its all-time high. Now, just out of curiosity for a trade like this, as you said, you're in it. Do you have a target that you're looking for when it comes to KRE? Do you have any indicators or something that would give you reason to take profit in the upcoming weeks, just as this is a brand new breakout trade?
Absolutely. Yeah. So for any of these names, especially in sectors that traditionally are quite beaten down, as you know, regional banking, they've had a tough time. They are nowhere near as far in their progression as many of the leading sectors. So they have a lot of room to go. Therefore, they can break out. Shorts could step back in. So I'll be watching, like I said, the end of the month and OPEX. But for now, target-wise, I think it's really going to very highly likely hit the 70 level here, sweep this previous high, and set up the potential for a major breakout here. As you can see on this monthly chart, we could make a significant move up to 78 and potentially higher.
Oh, that is a gorgeous looking monthly chart, no questions asked. Now, obviously you picked a couple of sectors that I think are strategically maybe not worried about the AI bubble. Or I shouldn't say the potential of an AI bubble. Because while we had Jackson Hole today, we have a little something next week on Wednesday, which may or may not matter to the overall market in the Qs. Of course, that would be Nvidia earnings. So you've got a couple of plays that maybe you don't have to worry about that unless there's some kind of ridiculous sentiment shift that somehow extends everywhere. This is the biggest name in the market and the most important earnings release that we get during the season. Just out of pure curiosity, are you positioned looking for anything specific in the chip space, or maybe any smaller AI plays that you think coming off of Nvidia one way or the other? It doesn't have to be a long looking into next week, because there is no bigger event now until we actually come to September outside of Wednesday.
Sure, a great thing to put on people's radar there. It's a huge event, and while these names aren't super affected, I do hold some AI plays that I would like to respond positively, of course. If we do get negative reactions, I'm looking to add to those names. They're up and holding, and we can talk about those in a second. Yep. But in general, I think that we are still in the middle innings of AI. So I'm looking for big pullbacks to be bought, into key levels. So that's kind of how I would frame it. I'm bullish though, and the basket I'm playing is TER, Teradyne, AMKR, Amcor, and then TEM, Tempest AI.
Ooh, Tempest. Everyone's always loving Tempest because it's the Nancy Pelosi play. And it's almost unfair, because then that's all anybody ever really talks about is the fact that Nancy Pelosi's in it. Well, what difference does it make if it's working? I get it. It just becomes a little bit of a shtick. But the more important thing is opportunity to potentially buy the dips. I feel the same. Look, I do feel the same way. I don't really see how there could be overwhelmingly bad news. The only concern I have for Nvidia, of course, is this whole China thing. It's like they can sell the H20. Now they're saying they're going to cut production. It's like, who knows? I think we get some clarity there. But outside of that, I would think that it could be an opportunity to buy the dip. This has been proven. I think this earnings cycle, we're in a buy the dip until proven otherwise market. And ultimately, it's like anything else. Eventually, that stops working. But until it stops working, you kind of feel you want to be with the trend. And there's so many people always trying to catch that top. I find it's almost impossible to catch the top of any market, let alone this ridiculous bull market.
I couldn't have said it better myself. We're in the business of catching the clear, defined moves, and we can catch that 80%. We can leave the 20% at the top and the bottom for the heroes. But that's not consistent. That's what we're all about, right?
Oh, I agree with you. Consistent profits are way better than just trying to be that absolute hero. It feels really good to catch the top or the bottom, but the truth is it's so difficult that you will find yourself probably so ridiculously frustrated and so stressed out that it's almost not worth it. Just try to be profitable and try to have a strategy which has a consistent basis going for it. But I do want to jump, maybe if we can. There's something that happened in some of the healthcare names. First of all, a lot of healthcare wasn't going to be that good today. I mean, UNH, that makes some sense that money would come out of it. But there's a stock that during the squeeze, and I know this is a stock that we've talked about before, that with all of this squeezing going on, seemed like it would be pretty primed to make a little bit of a bounce, right? Look at the whole market squeezing higher. Why can't HIM squeeze higher as well? And don't get me wrong, it's up 1% today. But it did a poor job of holding on to the gains. But you've liked this stock before. And I was staring this one down myself because it bounced off 41 bucks. It bounced off the 200 period moving average. It's already pulled back. And every single time this has caught a bit, it's been a pretty good rally recently. I know you've had some great calls on HIM. So just for myself, being curious, because I'm thinking about looking long on this one on Monday, just from a pure technical standpoint. What are your thoughts on this one? I know it's not a space that held up well today in the rally, is the only counterpoint.
I had a feeling you'd bring up HIMS. This name I cannot shake for better or worse. I do love it, and it's a fun trader. I'm not really sure exactly what it's doing yet, so I'm keeping an eye on it, but it is interesting to me for a lot of the reasons you mentioned. We're also entering this zone into this 6.2 fib, which it is holding. It's coming up on that the 200 there, like you mentioned, and it did hold the swing low here. So there are some potential signs of maybe a wider, longer base here coming to attack this massive level up here. So it's tough for me when a pattern's so pretty and it just fails the move. I really have to reassess. But I need the volume to step back in. I need buyers to show that this is a bottom, and then I'll be looking to take a spot right around this 40 handle, I think.
Yeah, I appreciate you going over there because I'm genuinely curious about it. Like, it's at a fantastic level. It's a trade I'm looking to put on. So someone that made good calls on is what I want to hear. Steve, before we get you out of here, we have to run to Adara. We've got some breaking news here. So just very quickly, we're going to run to Adara.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, if you want to look at this chart as well, for sure, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Wayfair actually dropping here, W, after Trump announced on Truth Social that they're doing a major tariff investigation on furniture coming into the United States. Within the next 50 days, apparently, they'll complete the investigation, and furniture coming into the States will be tariffed at a rate that has not yet been determined. And the goal of this investigation is to bring furniture businesses back to North Carolina, South Carolina, Michigan, and other states across the union. So Wayfair did not like this news. Steve, I don't know if this is a stock that you have any opinions on, but maybe worth discussing as a transition to this story, because I was not expecting this to drop the way it did.
Yikes. Yeah, that's about 10% off the bat on Wayfair. Apparently, it doesn't have just what you need. The puns always write themselves for this. And the problem with this, I don't know, Steve, you're probably seeing the same thing I am. When you've been just essentially trending straight up 4x, you do not need anything to rock the boat. This just looks like a pretty standard trend break here. I don't know that I could be anything but bearish on Monday in this stock, because that's a pretty decent trend break. And with negative news, when there's a million places to go for bullish looking stocks here. What are your thoughts maybe on Wayfair? I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but yeah, that could be a mover next week.
No, I love it. I think you said it very well. I mean, that was essentially algorithmic buying on the way up, right? So there was a program, to some degree or another, that was just buying this thing the whole way up. And all it takes is a little bit of news to rock the boat and really turn that off. So for me, I mean, I can't be bullish. I would look short-term bearish. Long-term, we need to see where buyers step in. That's not great news, and it's at the top of a long-term range. So I would expect significant pullback here to maybe the 65 handle before I'd like to look at it long.
Yeah, good take there at 65. Can I ask you one thing before I get you out of here, Steve? I notice you use Fibonacci's. Now, when I play trend breaks and a lot of the strategies, I look at prior support and resistance levels, moving averages. That's sort of my shtick. Just maybe, because we get a lot of questions when something's going into like a blue sky setup, or maybe in this particular case, Wayfair is in a pullback. Do you use Fibonacci's for exit points or take profits? Because I know myself, I just look at, I'd say 64, 65 because of the 50 period and a little bit of support there. But I notice you use Fibs. Is that something you deploy on all of your trades or just occasionally?
Oh, absolutely. It started out as a thing that I would employ tactically, and I found the more that I've used them, the more opportunities I see in them. So what I can show you real quick is this extensions. I'm a big fan of the 1.2 extension, of the 1.6 extension, and then the 2 extension. And it's so funny. I swear we didn't plan this, guys. But when you slap the fib on from the low to the swing high where it kind of fell down, you'll see it slowed down right about at the 2 there. And this is super reliable for me. So if it's going to fail, it'll often fail here. And if not, then you look for the 1.6 and the 2 on any range break.
See, and this is why I love, and it's not to always put you on the spot, but genuinely you'll see. You come on here, I put the pressure on, I'm going to ask questions. I'm genuinely curious because I hope that gives everybody a learning experience, because I know I get to learn from talking to another trader who has a different sort of strategy or skill set from mine. So thank you so much as always, Steve. Thank you for calling out KRE last week. I think that looks pretty good on the charts and the solar names as well. Hopefully, I know we're all looking bullish on Nvidia on Wednesday, but maybe we do get an opportunity to buy the dip just as you said there. So thank you for everything. Have a fantastic weekend. Our good friend Steve Talman from Trade the Pool. Be sure to check him out next week. I mean, every week we have you on. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks so much, Neil. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care, brother. Always a blast talking to Steve. One of the things I love the most about all of our guests, but never unwilling to talk about pretty much anything. I try to put Steve on the spot. I always try to put Michael on the spot as well, just sort of asking something that I know there's no chance he could have been prepared for, and just to see him just drop knowledge is always a lot of fun. This is not good for Wayfair And the more I'm thinking about this is, Steve said it too, almost like algorithmic buying on the higher time frame, on this daily, on Wayfair, to then break this trend down and to be down at the 70 level. It's just, this is not good. And when you're in the crosshairs, we've seen it before. When the POTUS says buy, you buy. When POTUS is looking negatively, it's not good until proven otherwise. So I don't like this at all for Wayfair. We're going to come in on Monday, and certainly I'll be looking in the other direction. But you know what time it is, everybody. I have to say this. Joe did a fantastic job when he filled in. That being said, roll call is dominated by the champion, Adara. So if you want your name to be read by Adara today in this chat, then what you need to do is jump in here, hit that subscribe button first, because it's a subs-only chat. If you don't hit subscribe, you can't type in the chat. And if you can't type in the chat, then you can't be part of roll call. Give a big shout out to Obi for filling in for Sean. Oh boy, he did a fantastic job. Give a big shout out to Joey Eth. Big shout out to Sharif, the professor, to the entire team. We've got Fabian, Ramin. Ramin, you should have thrown something at the boys for bullying you. I'm on your side all the time. Give a shout out to Brandon. Give a shout out to Andre. No, in the middle of the day, they were ragging her, and I'm like,
Wait,
you
were
can.
they today? I missed that.
Yes, and I said, Ramin, you can throw something at them. It's perfectly fine. And she's too nice, and she didn't do it, but she could have.
Apparently, she used to throw things at Sharif, but I never saw this, and I sat right next to her. So.
They're brother and sister.
I know, it's like they fight like cats and dogs. It's so funny. It is really
the cutest thing of all time.
And he's committed to the bit. We're just talking about Sharif and his commitment to, yeah, she did not care. She just tuned out.
She's
but shout
hard
out to
at work.
Ramin, shout out to Neil, shout out to Fabian, Andre, Sharif, Joe, Obi, Sean. We have Brendan. We've got everybody on the team. And thank you, chat. Gravel Culture, Stevenson Etienne, Albatross, Rian, WJ Larson, NYC Urbanista, Joe Schmo, Neil, Mike, Alonzo, Content Revolver, Hoodie Who, Stubborn, Will Knight, Mike DeRider, Brown Lightning, Dicing, The Roaring Griffin, Ronaldo, South Jersey Jack, Wibicus, Alexa, David Schreiner. We've got Mike. Oh my God, these names are flying, guys. D-Frat, Donkey Trader, Ryan O'Day, Denny Dollars. I love that one. King Clutch, Grov, FOMO Baggins, another great one. Mike DeRider again here, Notorious Dinkelberg, Cloud C. We've got John Fitz, Mamo Cowboy, Heavyweight. We've got Wild Bane, the OC. Danny Dollars again, Big Joel 360 and the Absolute Truth, and it is the Absolute Truth that will be back on Monday. Also, WSM is tanking. Thank you, Rivian Millionaire, in the chat for bringing this up. Honestly, this is probably the horse I'll be clip-clopping on into the sunset if it drops on Monday, because this is way more my speed than our friend Wayfair. But you know what? We'll watch them all because that's what we do at Trader TV Live.
Mic drop from Adara. That's how she does it every single day with that energy. And she doesn't miss a beat on the news either. We had a great team here, but hope we had a fantastic week. It's going to be better next week. Nvidia earnings on Wednesday. Rest up. Another big week. It's Trader TV Live, brought to you by Beta Pro, by Globex, and we'll see you on Monday. Bye, everyone.